Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Welcome to Alien Addict, everybody. I am Rich Giordano. Yep, that's it. We're doing a great show today. I've got a couple of guests I'm bringing on. I know it was shocking. We had a little technical difficulty, but today we're going to talk about disclosure, and we're going to talk about the Israelis and some groundbreaking news that just came out within the last 36 hours. I've just learned about it myself because I'm a little behind. But we're gonna have on the show Osvaldo Franco. He's gonna be joining us, and Alien Addict Ollie will be on the show. I think he's here too, right? There he is. All right, so I'm gonna welcome, guys. I appreciate you coming on. This is gonna be a great show as always. Because
thank you, Rich. Do you know what?
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on.
I'm swapping us. There we go. I'm going there. You can go there.
But thank you for coming on, because disclosure is always a hot topic in ufology. Some people think it's going to happen tomorrow, yesterday. I don't think it'll ever happen. But Ollie, I'd like to just pass off the microphone to you and give you full control of this entire broadcast, if you don't mind.
Thank you, Rich. And I'll give you a thumbs up for that one. There you go.
All right. Thank you, Greer.
Do you know what? While we're on the subject of Greer, you interviewed Stephen the other day. You had the privilege of interviewing Stephen Greer
at the CE5 event in Scottsdale, Arizona. Yeah, it was amazing. Great guy, actually.
He needs to be here for that.
When he's in front of you, I felt like I was watching him on TV. It was that kind of experience. It's like I've known this guy for forever. For 15 years, 16 years, and there he is in front of me. And yeah, he just spoke like he spoke and acted like we thought he would act. He was actually in great spirits. It was awesome.
So you said to me in private chat, you said you couldn't believe how he's like a really cool guy.
He was, yeah. He seemed really cool. But, a lot of people were paying a lot of money to go there, so he better be in a good mood. You know what I mean? I don't want to see any negative Greer when you're spending anywhere from $100 to $275 a ticket.
Wow.
So, yeah, but there was only about 120, 20, 30, 40 people there because of the worldwide events that are happening,
Yeah, well, thanks for coming on tonight, Rich, and for doing the opening of the show. I think that's going to be a thing from now on. Let's get the guests to do it. It saves me the job.
Well, you're welcome. I thought I was keeping it though.
Oh, you can keep it. Sorry,
right.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. You're the coolest. I don't care what anybody says about you.
And Osvaldo Franco. Oh, wrong button. Osvaldo. Yeah, on the pitching.
I thought I saw something.
How you doing, Oz? Welcome
Good,
to the show.
Man. Thanks for having me back. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah. See, the light's gone funny again, so you can't show off your soul glow hair.
Ah, yeah.
No, Rich, you've not experienced it in the light. It does look. Me and Oz were talking about this earlier.
Soul glow, man! I can't believe you just said that.
It's because I'm enlightened. You see,
it's not from Coming to America.
No,
that too.
Did you know there's a sequel? Me and Oz have just been talking about this. I can't believe it.
I wonder what it's going to be about.
Disclosure.
Coming to America Part 2 is Disclosure.
Well, let's face it. If Disclosure does come, it'll probably come to America first.
Well, yeah, it's going to be us making the announcement. I'm certain. Barring incident, unless there's like a Phoenix lights in the broad daylight over Russia and it's Vladimir's turf or something.
So Oz, we'll start with you then. I mean, you've been saying for quite a long time on my channel. I mean, you was the original person that introduced me to the actual Tic Tac before TTSA put it out and saying this is going to drop. So, I mean, you're very much in the loop. You're getting information, but do you think something's going to? When do you think it's going to be soon? This disclosure.
Well, we already had something today. Quite a few things, like I said, in the last 36 hours. It's been very, very interesting. It's been a good time to be a ufologist. I I'm one of the people that believes that disclosure is going to be a process. I do believe that, and it is a process, and we're seeing this. We've been seeing this like unfold slowly for the last
for 70 years. Yeah.
Well, no. Really, like we picked up steam maybe 2017, and like really, it's just like chugging along. We're doing like, we're getting there, and we will get there. I think we might be surprised when we do. Like I think that at some point we're going to see whole craft, and I think that that's going to be like a watershed moment when things start to tip, like a tipping point.
They show a whole craft and everything is done. It's over with.
Yeah,
right?
no, yeah, exactly. Like even if we don't get bodies for another couple of years after that, it'll be like everyone will expect. We'll know that the aliens are here or whatever you want to call them, and that basically it's that we're not alone here, not even in the universe. We're not alone on our own planet, and I think that's. I think we're going to get that sooner than later. Let's just say that. It might be a couple of years, but I think we're going to get it sooner than later.
And I mean, you've said on the channel before about your investment in TTSA. So do you think that it's going to be these guys to bring it?
So far, it has been. And honestly, TTSA is the best game in town. It's the best game we've ever had. TTSA is definitely not another MUFON. It's definitely not like anything
it's
we've ever
worse.
had before.
They're worse.
How is TTSA worse than MUFON? MUFON is incompetent.
Let me tell you why. MUFON is. They're done. Forget about them. They're done and over with. They have a pedo running their organization.
Yeah, that's right. No, they could have got rid of him for being racist, decided to stand by him just so they could get rid of him for something even worse.
Worse, yeah.
And much more embarrassing. Like that's just a...
Can I ask you something, Osvaldo? Can you get a little pregnant?
No.
Okay, so you can't have You can't have a little bit of disclosure.
Yeah,
you have to have it's either all or nothing. Would you agree on that?
Not necessarily. I think that we are gonna. I mean, like I said, we have. Let's say that scenario we were discussing happens. Yeah. Like it's a full craft. Everybody's seeing it. Whether it's in a hangar, and the president is, they're talking about it, or it's on the news because there was a Phoenix Lights incident over, Manhattan at 2 p.m. or something, and there's like a million videos of that thing bouncing around the internet within like minutes. In that situation, I think that like everyone will know they expect other things, but I think it'll still be gradual. I don't think they're going to.
But that's not disclosure, though. That's not the government showing us what they have and bringing aliens to the forefront. That's not disclosure. That's just a ship in the sky. So we could say that's anything.
Well, that's the difference, though, is the fact is that given what's going on, the fact that the government has in the last few years been giving this information, and in fact today, we got something, and there's going to be more. There will be more. I think that they're getting out ahead of this, man. They're getting out ahead of this because, and it's been said before that they've run scenarios about like what's going to happen, and they know that they're anticipating that something like a Phoenix Lights event is going to happen, and unlike when it happened the first time. Which
they anticipate it every day, but here's why. This is why TTSA has shown us flares, called them UFOs. Elizondo's going around saying everything's a threat. There is no indication of a threat, and they keep using the footage and imagery that has been debunked and proven. These are stars. It's CGI. They're skydivers with smoke on their boots. So everything they're showing us is nothing. Now, don't you feel like I've been duped?
No, dude, like not at all. Like honestly, the idea that the Tic Tac footage is not authentic is nonsense.
Everything. Now, forget that those three. I'm talking about the last season of Unidentified. 2 seasons. None of that stuff was UFOs.
I have to say, the last season of Unidentified, I did get bored of it.
Second season, I thought it was much better than the first. The first
I thought
season
it was,
just,
yeah, I didn't think it was that bad. I like them both,
no,
to be honest with you. But
I like the second season much better than the first season. First season, I
I prefer.
fell asleep. I fell asleep watching the first season.
Yes, I did. We all said that.
Yeah, to be honest, I felt.
But then again, I did watch the I cannot say that word, the phenomena this year, and that was great. You know, I think I expected there was a few bits I expected a little bit longer. It needed to be a little bit longer, but that was really good. No, that was really well done.
Speaking of the phenomena, man, the Zamora case got weirder. Listening to James Fox talks like there's so much that he left out of that documentary that needed to be on that documentary, man. He was doing an interview and he was talking about how apparently a portion of the landing gear of that craft hit a rock and broke. And Lonnie Zamora actually had pieces of this thing. And apparently they went missing right after he died.
wow.
Yeah, like it's James Fox on record saying that this happened. So I tend to believe James Fox.
That's what they call the egg, that thing.
The first
original Tic Tac, yeah.
So after all these years, now all of a sudden James Fox is saying there's this piece that Lonnie Zamora was holding on to that nobody knew about until now. Now that he's dead. Now that we can't verify it. And now it's out.
Yeah, now that we don't have it anymore.
What a great story. Yeah, it's always amazing. This stuff never gets out when the people are around to confirm it. I hate this shit. Sorry, Ollie. It's so frustrating.
So James, because it had 3 legs, didn't it? So James Fox has got the 3rd leg.
Who, Lonnie?
Yeah, Lonnie had
yeah.
Lonnie had a piece of it.
Maybe James maybe he's just pulling his leg. You know.
That's cool though if it's true.
Yeah.
Hey, did anybody draw what it looked like? Do we know what it looks like?
I think there is a drawing.
The piece of what? Of the Tic Tac or the?
No, the broken leg. The landing.
No. This is just,
DB Cooper.
to my knowledge, no photos, nothing. I just know that this was what he said. So it's there, and apparently the family couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Well, this is it. I mean,
I don't know, dude. If I had pieces of a UFO, I would make sure like somebody could find it if I died.
But TTSA, you're putting them up there on a pretty big pedestal, saying they have done a lot for ufology. I don't take that away from them. But there's a lot of disinformation, a lot of bad information. What, other than getting all the mainstream media play that they've really gotten for, that's what they've done, in my opinion, that they've got the discussion on the mainstream media. We've seen distractions or retractions, I should say, from the New York Times, from people in TTSA saying things that they really didn't say. I mean, this is really, it's convoluted. I'm very confused by TTSA. Why do you think that they're being put up on a high pedestal like that?
Well, they're getting things done. I mean, honestly,
like what?
They're handling, dude. They handle. They were involved in the briefing of Congress, like not that long ago. In fact, there was a photograph that was posted of Tom DeLonge speaking with them, with Congress, dude. Like, yeah, this happened. They were.
You know why? Because the only way they can get the Congress to be involved is to say it's a threat, so they can get funding from the government, and that's a bullcrap thing to do.
Well, this is the thing. There's other stuff we haven't seen yet that
of course, I know,
might affect that. Again, dude, there's a lot of stuff we don't know.
Yeah.
We're getting bits and pieces and glimpses of things. And there's anecdotes of some things not being quite so kosher.
Same story. Every day it's the same story. They got something we can't see, but they got it. We'll never see it. I hate it.
No, I think they're getting us ready to see a lot of stuff.
But this has been 4 years, and they haven't done anything, in my opinion. Like, I know that, and then Tom DeLonge said they're not a UFO investigation group with that tweet, but they're a government. They only care about what the government has, right? Isn't that what they're about?
No, they concentrate on military witnesses and stuff like that.
Strictly.
Because they tend to be the best witnesses. They tend to be the people with the most technical backgrounds. This works. This is it's better than like, yeah, you know, like I've had UFO experiences, but I'm just a guy.
I don't mean to put you on the
You know?
spot.
No,
I don't
not
wanna,
at all.
no. Let me finish.
Like
Let me
it's like,
finish.
but I'm just
I
a
don't.
dude. Like it doesn't matter what I say. Like Ozzy can say whatever, you know, he saw it. It's not the same like level of credibility when it's like some dude that was like on duty at a missile silo. Or
No, I know that. I know. You're just telling me what they're doing. I get it. But I'm not trying to pick on you. I'm just picking your brain. That's all this is about. Because you're in that group of people that like TTSA and think they're doing good. In my opinion, I think they're not doing any good for what I want to see in ufology. And now, let me ask you this. Do you trust your government?
No.
Not 100%?
Really.
Okay.
No,
so you have
100%.
So ATIP and OSAP and all those other groups that we found out about had these guys working in those agencies that were in the government you don't trust, right? Isn't that what we got? We have guys who worked in the FBI and the CIA and secret UFO groups that are now in TTSA. So why would we trust them?
Because it seems like there's there's an effort to actually bring this out, and there is an effort to bring this out, and I'm supporting that effort. I'm supporting because honestly, barring incident, we're not going to get this other than piecemeal from military sources that have been approved.
But don't you think
they're not going to just release everything? That's like not only is that foolhardy, you could probably cause a lot of damage that might not be easily repairable by doing that. You like in a lot of ways, you know, they screwed up the military by hiding this for so long. And now they're sitting on a bomb and they have to very, very carefully disarm this bomb because if it goes off, everybody's getting taken up with it.
But this is what I've been hearing for 17 years. I mean, nothing's changed. Greer and Bassett said, we're going to have disclosure in 4 years. Then it was 6 years. Then it was 2 more years. And then they stopped saying it because it never happens. So I feel like we're going down the same road, I think. I hope you're right.
Well, no,
I want you to be right.
We have gun camera footage now. We have open discussions about metamaterials. And, you know,
we've always had both of those.
No, not like now.
I don't see anything new. That's good.
We have open research groups that are coming, which are about to make some announcements soon, apparently. Okay. According to James Fox, also, Jacques Vallée is onto something.
Well, let's not forget, James Fox is a filmmaker, not a UFO researcher, is he? Or is he now?
I would consider him a ufologist, honestly, with all the all of the years he's put in, and dude, like all the evidence he finds, and the fact is he makes the best UFO documentaries.
He does, in my opinion. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's not because he doesn't care. It's not because he's an amateur either.
Good.
I think anybody that puts the effort that he put into making, especially his most recent one, I could quite consider him a UFO research because he's done his research. You know.
Good point. Yeah. Good point. You can be both. I'm doing it now.
Yeah, you two can carry on talking now because I'm enjoying this too much.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I knew this would happen. I knew this is why I wanted to get you both on because I know you have very different opinions. This is not about.
Well, speaking of what's coming out and disclosure. That big article came out, the one that everybody was talking about, December 2nd. It's going to be a big deal in it. The debrief released it, and
the Mexico one.
Pardon?
I'm sorry, I don't think I caught what you said. You cut out a little on my end.
No, the debrief. Article.
Oh, the debrief.
I thought you said the
debris field.
Yeah, I thought you said debris. Like that's a craft.
Well,
the debrief.org, you mean that new website?
Macmillan. This morning, we are now we're finding out a lot more about what's going on. Apparently, UFOs are no longer a secret in the military intelligence community. Apparently, a lot more people that don't. Like, you know, before it used to just be guys that used to work specifically in secret programs with UFOs that would know about this. Now that information, including images and things like that, like photographs, are now being circulated amongst the general intelligence community. I think that's a big indication that more stuff is just going to start leaking sideways.
Why would they do that? You know, to keep it secret. Do you think this is how they're going to get it out, by things slipping out and getting into the public? Is that why they sent the triangle picture out to so many people?
It could, honestly, it could be. Dude,
but we didn't see it. The public didn't see that picture, right?
No, not yet.
Right.
But honestly, it's probably going to leak at some point. Might be a couple of months from now. Who knows? But like, you know, or it'll just show up someday.
Rich, do you think that Greer might have a point when have you seen his recent film? I hope you have, because you went and interviewed him. Have you seen the Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind?
Yeah, I've seen it a couple of times. Yeah.
Yeah. So he did a little bit of a piece in that, and it was kind of like a hit at TTSA. Do you think he's possibly right by what he's saying? Because he said ages ago, I don't know if you remember the interview that was on Secure Team 10, and he mentioned to Tyler that he thinks Tom DeLonge's being used.
Yeah, 100%. I think he's being used. Yeah, for a couple of things, but he could be the fall guy for any mistakes they make. They give him something and say, post this, it's real. Just tell everybody, you found it here or there. Who knows? But that's why the things I see him posting are junk, pretty much. I can't believe he's posting these CGI things, and I don't know. And Greer is right about TTSA. They're using the threat of the alien invasion thing. There's no threat. So why do they keep saying there's a threat?
Listen, Greer is taking the terminology, the military terminology of threat, out of context. And he's always done that, and he's done it disingenuously.
But I don't think I'm taking it out of context.
Check this out, man. Like, and Elizondo has said this, and it's true. If you're going into your house and you see muddy footprints walking through your living room, and you didn't make them, and you haven't been home, you need to find out who's
different.
Doing it.
That's
threat,
my
dude.
private. We don't own the airspace. I mean, aliens don't know that.
The U.S. government does own.
But the aliens don't know that. They're flying around, man.
Dude, they know everything about us.
How do you know? How do you know? Have you talked to them?
They've clearly been observing us forever. Also, the fact is, dude, you think they have all that stuff without AI? We have already. It's been said that there are theoretical psychological profiles of basically everybody in the world, for the most part.
They're using the threat
do that with our limited technology. You don't think beings with telepathy? Yeah, dude, telepathy and AI. You don't think that they're like capable of coming up with a really, really reasonable facsimile or virtual model of human beings?
It's like assumptions. All of us, those are all assumptions. Nobody has proof of that.
I think it's a pretty good assumption.
They may be able to go from point A to point B, but to read minds and have all this data on 8 billion people, I don't know about that. But I would imagine they could, yes, just for the sake of the argument.
Dude, Greer, your own guy Greer says that they have telepathy.
But I'm not Greer, okay? I'm just talking for me.
TTSA and Greer are on the same page.
Yeah, but I'm not talking for Greer. I was talking for me. But I know what Greer's saying. I spoke to him about it, and off record. And it's just unfortunate that a lot of people don't see it that way. I believe what Greer believes, and without even knowing what he was going to say, I believe it, because I don't think aliens are a threat. And how can you take it out of context? That we're taking it exactly how it's being said. They're a threat because they're in our airspace.
Yes, they also mess with our.
What's the threat, though? What's the threat? Did they shoot at them?
Oz. There's the question for. So you've had an. You was involved in the Hudson Valley sightings, yeah, when you were a kid.
Yeah.
And the video is on my channel where you go over the experience that you had on the roof.
Yeah.
In your opinion, back then, did you feel that was a threat?
No, absolutely not. And again, like I said, you got to put threat into context. If somebody can come around and just mess with your stuff, that's a threat.
But
Yeah, it is.
What are they messing with? What are they messing with?
Our missiles.
When did one get launched?
It's not that when they get. It's not that when they got launched. It's that they didn't launch. They deactivated them. And then in the case of
there was
Russia,
no proof that the UFOs did that. They were just in the area. That doesn't mean that's proof. There was no connection. Just that they were there doesn't prove it, though. That's just imaginations.
No, there's more to that. Than,
maybe the guys turned the keys and then said, "Oh, we better not," and then they didn't tell their boss that. You know what I mean? I mean, we don't know the full story. Like everything, they hide everything. They're gonna blame it on something in the sky instead of their own guys.
No,
that's what I think. There could have been an argument. Let's start a war. No, we'll say it's a UFO. Those guys wanted to start a war, and we have to come up with the story. I don't know. I'm going as crazy as the story is now.
And the same thing happened with the Russians too. The same exact scenario.
Yeah, it's probably aliens, but they didn't launch them. So until they launch them, didn't we take it as a show of love? Like, hey, we don't want you to do this. We want you to do this. In
the Russian situation, apparently they activated the missiles. It was the opposite of ours.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So there you go.
Stories.
Yeah, but these are like really high-ranking military guys talking about this.
Know.
Like, who are who they claim they are. You know, and have documents to back it up and everything, man.
Because they have to cover up their own mistakes, and the easiest way to do it was something you can't prove. I believe in aliens. I do. I believe in aliens. I believe in UFOs. But I don't believe all the stories without evidence to back it up. Somebody's story, witness testimony is good. It ain't great, but sometimes it's bad when it could be, some people take it like it's, evidence. I need hardcore evidence, man. I want somebody to prove it to me. I understand where you're coming from. Look, I looked at it all different ways.
Then if you want hardcore evidence, you're not going to get that from Stephen Greer. Stephen Greer does metaphysics. He does not do
TTSA. We're not getting it from TTSA.
I'm sorry. You're going to get more from TTSA, a lot more than you will from Greer.
I think it's about the same. It's donuts.
So Rich, who
donuts for everybody.
Who do you have that little inkling of trust for in all of this?
You asking me?
Yeah, because
nobody.
So Oz is all about TTSA, and I respect that. I'm the man in the middle here. I should be in the middle, actually. Put you two next to each other.
But I respect TTSA for what they've done. Believe me, I know they've done a lot. I've said it before. But it's the same thing we've seen when Greer and Bassett started doing this disclosure project, and it got them nowhere. Everybody, we're always going to get going, and we're going to hit the door every single time. But I think what, Osvaldo is, he's being a little more... What is the word when you're thinking more positively than I am? He's
optimistic.
Optimistic that they're pounding the door down and it's breaking now and it's starting to break. We've gone through this.
Pounding the door. I'm thinking more like the door is withering. And now
I hope you're right.
Now that the door is old and warped, and even the powers that be are like, damn, we need a new door. People are now able to go into these holes and like carve out pieces of it. And that's, basically it's going to be a little bit of push and a little bit of shove, but it's going to happen. You can't hide the stars by covering your eyes. And at the end of the day, this comes out. And I believe that, like, honestly, man, we're going to be sending thousands of people to Mars soon, to the moon soon. Well, what happens when we have UFO sightings on Mars and the moon? Like, and I don't mean like, anecdotes that maybe like, they say astronauts saw stuff and like 3 of them say yes and the other 9 don't want to talk about it. I'm talking about like, tourists and people. What happens when Demi Lovato, who can afford to go to the moon, and is in a UFO head, gets to film something on her iPhone, from the window of Spaceship One.
When's this moon mission? Is it 2024 supposed to be happening?
Yeah, man. Like I'm telling you now, there's reasons why they're getting out ahead of this, and it's not because UFOs are going to remain a mystery forever. They're getting out ahead of this because, honestly, like, dude, read the information that they've been TTSA has been providing for people. The fact is as we are going into space, we're developing these technologies. We're looking at not only that, but things look like they're going to converge around 2050. That sooner or
Oz, you've gone sideways.
Hello? So,
There we go. He's back in the house.
And in fact, maybe we should talk. Well, that leads into something else, but it's looking
quickly. Before, keep that in your head, Ross.
Our technology looks like it's going to hit a certain point, one way or the other, by 2050, where we're going to be able to do these things.
2050.
Yes. However,
I believe that.
However, it looks like if we do certain types of research and get some things out, we might get it done much, much faster, much, much sooner. And that I'm betting that that's what's going to happen. Quite a few people are.
Sure.
But there's a lot more that's going on. Again, this is a way to listen. There's no good way to pull off this Band-Aid, so they're just gonna, they're trying to do the best that they can. I think that this is a plan that is feasible. It's going to work. I believe that as we start sending more people into space, we're going to start having more shit happen. And things that are going to be literally impossible to continue to ignore. So they're just going to listen, if there is a Phoenix Lights event that happens in public again, and they didn't get out in front of it, it would be a disaster for them.
So with this
total disaster for the powers that be. If they're doing this, is because they have a gun to their head. I believe they have a gun to their head.
So Oz. So with this Phoenix Lights
scenario, yeah.
Part 2,
yeah.
Scenario. How who's predicting this?
There have been stories that they've.
Who's giving the? I'm general. I want to know who's.
Tom DeLonge, amongst other people. There was another guy too who passed away a few years ago, whose name escapes me right now. But and a couple of other people and honestly, it makes sense, and that makes so much fundamental sense that they are trying to, remember when the Phoenix Lights first happened, they got maybe 300 separate videos because people had camcorders.
Wait, there was only two videos of the Phoenix Lights.
No, there were a lot more, but there's only a few that actually were continuously used by the media. And like anything else.
I've seen the other ones, and those aren't the same.
Okay, sorry, Rich, go on.
But that's all right. I'm just saying there are other videos that are similar looking, but it wasn't.
Yeah, well, the point is,
boys, before you go with that, something I just want to say about these Phoenix Lights, and Rich has got a point there, and I've always wondered this: why, if there was thousands of people filming it, how can we? There wasn't
thousands of people. There was a couple of.
There was thousands of people. There was thousands of witnesses, weren't they?
Yeah,
there was 10,000 witnesses minimum.
Okay. What year was it?
Probably
1997, March 15th, 1997.
I don't understand why there's not more video footage of it. I know because more out of 10,000 witnesses.
They think up to 100,000, but 10,000 known.
How many of those 10,000 would you say would have something to film?
Back then?
Yes, quite a few.
Nothing. Well, there would have been, but not everybody had them at the ready like we do now.
Yeah,
they would have to go in their house, and maybe it wasn't charged, and by the time they go in, it's already gone.
Wasn't it in the sky for quite a bit of time?
It came from up at the border from Nevada, came down through Kingman, Flagstaff.
Yeah, people saw it on the way.
And it started about 7-ish, and then it went all the way down the center of Phoenix, and then it got at 8 o'clock is when people started seeing it here to 8:15, and they said it was you could throw a rock and hit it. It was that low. You could open up a newspaper at arm's width and length, and you can't block it out. It was huge. And you could see through it. There were lights. Everybody said the same thing. It looked like the craft and the lights were made from the same thing. It was like you could see through it. Stars would pass by it, but you can see right through. It was kind of wavy, like heat when you look on the ground and you see the heat. It was a good event, man, but they did drop flares that night. What's that?
Third phaser in the house. I've got my little thing for.
And yes,
Dr. Greer does say that it was him that summoned the. Yeah, and then he created the protocols for the aliens, even though people were doing this for decades before CE5 existed. They were doing meditations and using lights to try to contact UFOs with some success. In fact, he basically Greer went and took some of these groups that were in South America and had been doing this since the 80s at least. And basically, he said that he did it.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm sorry, man, but sometimes Greer gets a little too
Of course.
Yes, Steven, you're a superhero. You're it's like, come on, dude. Please. Why do you have a cult? Why do you have a cult, Steven? You don't need a cult if you're, a man of science.
You're a part of a cult. TTSA.
No, TTSA is not a cult. It's a company.
I think if you've got any sort of allegiance to a company, whether it be Nike, Adidas, it's a cult of people, isn't it? Anything could be called a cult.
Yep.
If you want to, if you want to,
I want to.
Well, not really, no, because I don't have to meditate and shit and fast and things like that. Things that I find kind of dubious, to produce these events. I don't like spirituality. I think spirituality is it's a wrench thrown at us so that people get lost. I think we need to really just not deal with metaphysics at all and concentrate on things like metamaterials.
But that goes against everything you said earlier. They could read minds, telepathy.
Yeah,
so
but
how
that's
could you throw
not
that
spirituality.
Out? Sure it is.
Telepathy is telepathy. Spirituality is something else.
It's spiritual, man. It's spiritual to people.
No,
to people,
dude.
It is.
Yeah,
if I hear a voice in my head,
you probably schizophrenic. But dude, that's the thing. That's not how telepathy works. Telepathy is not hearing a voice.
It's mind reading.
It's more like getting a thought projected at you. It's kind of like when you get a text message and you glance at the text message and you don't read it, word by word. You just glance at it and it all comes at once.
Yeah,
that's what telepathy is like. It's not how these people. I heard something in my head. That's how I know you are either a liar or you have some type of mental health issues.
Wait, then explain it to me. How does telepathy? So if I hear a voice in my head and I see an alien in front of me and it's speaking to me, there's not a difference.
Telepathy? It's a difference between hearing a voice in your head and having a thought or a concept pushed, into your brain.
Okay.
That's the thing.
Maybe I had it wrong. Yeah, I could have had it wrong.
It's a different experience. It's not how
to kind of Oz, Rich. So I have a question for you both then, because recently through the interviews that I've been doing, when I first started this channel, I don't know if I've told either of you that. I may have told you this, Rich. I used to be an atheist. So yeah. I literally had.
I am an atheist.
It was maybe the whole Prometheus thing happened here. Who knows? We got seeded here. But the more and more I've been speaking to different people about this subject, David, John, plenty of other people in this field as well, people messaging me, I seem to be getting the same sort of message back, that these people feel that there is something more to it than just alien. And I'm not saying it's that this...
Oh, yeah. That's completely.
Here's my question, Oz. So, if aliens exist, yeah. So you don't believe in God, okay, or anything like that, but
I don't believe in any religion. I don't believe. Do I believe in ghosts? Yes. Do I believe in extraterrestrials? Yes. But I don't have these hang-ups or telepathy. But I don't have this weird if you have telepathy, then that means meditation is true, and all these other things. You have to be spiritual, and you have to be a vegetarian, or else the aliens won't speak to you. There's a lot of weird things people they virtue signal with this stuff. It's you have to be somebody who is pure heart and body. Well, then how come the military has all the best shit? You mean all the peaceniks in the Pentagon, all the vegans? petting lambs, and
Oh, hang about! Don't pick on the vegans. My auntie might be watching. Oh no, that's a vegetarian.
well, the point is people like they virtue signal. They want the aliens to be what they are, what they want them to be, as opposed to what they are. I still believe that there's more mystery than not in that regard. But no, it's silly, and Greer does play into that, and I don't like that. I'm sorry, but most of the people that I know who have had real experiences, both military and civilian, are not these perfect folks.
I never heard a thought in my head from anything or anyone. I've never had the experience that these people claim they could have. I've tried very hard. It's never happened. So I understand what you're saying, Osvaldo. I totally get it. I mean, I think I believe what you're saying. I do.
Well, and that's part of the problem with the spirituality is it's a lot of half-cooked stuff thrown around, and there's no real scientific parameters for it. If there are, you're doing remote viewing, and even then, there's literally not a lot of substance to it. You can make, like I said, is there an aspect to this that is consciousness? Yes, but I think that there's a lot more of it, more to it than just that. Because if it was just consciousness, then everybody would be having like Chris Bledsoe type experiences, and they're not.
Just
things like that are still rare.
These two boys have not seen Jeff's footage from Rendlesham Forest. I will send them it. But we'll that's another show. But yeah, thank you, Alex. But yeah, Rich, Jeff's the guy who we were talking about you getting on. He's probably watching this now. From Ghost Tech Paranormal.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
The Ghost Hunters. Yeah, he's got 2-part videos where he's in Rendlesham Forest and there's UFOs in that video.
Oh my God. Great. Wait, I looked up telepathy. The supposed communication of thoughts or ideas by means other than the known senses.
Yes, and that's the thing. Thoughts and ideas. It's not hearing voices. If you hear voices, that's schizophrenia. Telepathy is it's like a concept with directionality. Do you understand? You could be standing you could be standing next to one of these beings, and you will have the beginning of a thought in your head, and then from that, somehow it goes into your brain. Another weird thought superimposes itself over your thinking. That's what telepathy is like, and it is weird.
It's a transmission of information from one
Yes,
person to another
but it's
without
not
using any known human sensory channels or physical interaction.
Yes, and it's not like listening to something. That's
no,
the thing.
and I didn't mean with my ears. I mean in your head, but
yeah, but even still, it's not like hearing a voice. It's not. It's.
I know. You said it's like
it's like a superimposition of an idea into your brain with directionality. You can tell. Some case, if somebody is standing, or one of those beings is standing next to you, you can tell it's coming from them. It's very odd.
Yeah.
But it's not, and it's not the way that a lot of these people that claim to have these experiences explain them to explain it to be. It's very it's very different.
So you don't believe lowering or raising your vibration to their level actually is a thing?
It could be, but I don't think that a diet is going to help you to do that. I don't think, which is some of the ridiculous things that these people say. You mean
they stop drinking water from a tap and this sort of stuff?
Yeah, just it gets weird. It gets even Greer plays that. Well, you have to be a vegetarian and be harmless, be completely harmless. That's being completely harmless is never a good idea.
That's pretty good, though.
And honestly, I think that, because I know, dude, I met Stephen Greer years ago, dude. I was around during Project Starlight. How about that?
Yeah, wow.
That's how long I've been doing this shit. All right. I remember skinny Greer with a beard.
Wow.
And hairy, skinny Dr. Greer. How about that?
I want him to grow a beard.
13.
God.
I think he'd look a little bit like what's his name? The 80s action hero man, Chuck Norris. If he grew a beard,
He would. Yes, he would.
Well, I'd love to see like Vin Diesel play him or something.
What Vin Diesel plays?
I would love to see Dr. Greer, like somebody make a terrible Dr. Greer movie. Like this, like action packed and like, you know, explosions and shit. Like that would be like.
And then his power is using his powers of the mind.
Yeah, you have to meditate.
If you was locked in a room with Stephen Greer and you had 2 questions for him, what would you ask him?
2 questions. Shit. 2 questions.
Why are we locking them in a room?
I just want to feel
just to ask a question.
I just want to make him uncomfortable.
Yeah, like you're that guy that says all that shit about me on YouTube.
Regan, have it, my friend. Thank you.
You know, and don't get me wrong, Stephen Greer did some phenomenal stuff 20 years ago. He was the best 20 years ago, and it's all been like downhill ever since. And honestly, there's like nowadays, like reemerging with like, you know, like that Skeleton Warriors action figure that he had, and the you know, like, dude, come on, like it's like everything has been wonky ever since. It's like he literally, dude, I believe Stephen Greer gave his all in 2001 and expected that to be enough. And it could have been, but it wasn't. Things didn't go that way, you know? Right. And now we're getting, you know, disclosure from to an extent from within the government. And yeah, is it possibly being the TTSA? Sure. I have no problems with that. It's like, and it's like, oh, well, that's not the full truth. You don't get the full truth from your own media. You don't stop watching CNN or MSNBC or Fox News because they're not telling you everything.
So the problem you have here with TTSA, with Greer, with anybody who's doing this kind of what they're doing, whatever it is they're doing, right, is you will never find out if they're bullshitters.
Pardon? Say that again?
You'll never find out if they're bullshitters, if Stephen Greer is a bullshitter, if TTSA is a bullshitter.
Oh, no, I think we will. I think it will, but it'll be in hindsight, and it might not matter so much.
No, all you'll get is you'll get people like us that are saying these people are talking nonsense. There'll be some channel that says, oh, so-and-so's talking nonsense, but you'll never get the actual hard-hitting evidence that one of them is talking out of their ass. So the thing is that they'll all be...
I don't know about that.
I mean,
I don't know about that.
Well, Oz, you've invested money in Stephen Greer.
Well, yeah, he wanted to make a documentary. I put some money into the documentary, and I watched the documentary through the cracks in my fingers because I had both my hands in my face because it was awful. That was like the worst like I was just really serious. You remember that one? Yeah, the first doc of the series of Dr. Greer adventures that that we were subjected to every couple of years. Like, and dude, notice all of those films, they all regurgitate the same stuff constantly. It's nothing really super new. So again, I reiterate, Stephen Greer gave everything he had 20 years ago. I don't think he has a whole lot more. I think it's interesting that the new video that he released, towards the end of it, it seems like he's dipping his toe in SSP research, you know. So that's another thing. That secret space program research, for those that don't know the acronym.
Yeah.
You know, which is an interesting new angle for him to take, especially when it's like, you know, the people that are like really involved in that tend to be less reputable characters for the most part, with a few exceptions. I do believe there is a secret space program of sorts.
Okay, that was the question.
I do not think we teamed up with the Nazis to go fight lizards, shape-shifting lizards, and I don't think you get taken for 20 years and then brought back with no time missing. You know, like I don't like in the blue chickens and.
By the way,
nonsense.
part 3, I think. Well, I don't know part 3, but another documentary is coming out where Greer talks about this stuff in Countdown
Holy
to
shit, we've got
Disclosure.
54. Sorry, we've got
here we
54
go.
people in the house. That's like the most I think I've had live. Thank you,
That's
boys.
awesome. Countdown to Disclosure is coming
Put the
out in
thumbs up,
February.
guy.
Do you know anything about it?
I watched it already. Yeah, it's Third Phase of Moon. They made a documentary.
Oh.
Greer's in it. They've been working on it for a very long time. It'll be out probably February on Amazon.
Yeah,
And he
well,
talks about
does he
this
talk about
stuff.
the moon base too? Like, because
I can't
I
disclose
wanna hear,
everything.
Yeah.
But
course.
I think you'll be happy with it. It was freaking awesome, to be honest. I'm not just saying that, but it's really good.
Yeah, them boys, they really know how to put together a documentary. I mean, the editing's fantastic.
It is. They do a good job. They do great. But so I was just mentioning it. I know it's like a plug for them, but it's also something people should look out for after the new year, because I think you'll be surprised with what Greer says. And maybe not. I don't know. But it's pretty cool.
No, we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I saw. I know. I'm just...
See, me and Blake
I keep laughing at that.
Me and Blake were in talks about getting him on for an interview. He's like, "Oh yeah, well, come on, I'll just pop that up." And he's just like, "Can you take that off, please? Can you just take it down?" I'm sorry, Blake.
It's seamless.
It's delicious.
Delicious. Well,
so
go ahead. Yeah.
When it comes to the secret space program, what are your thoughts on that, Rich?
Yeah, this is a tough one because I don't know anything, but I can only go by what I hear from other people, So I believe there is one. I think that's what's going up in our atmosphere, not in our atmosphere, but in orbit. I think we're doing a lot of secret covert stuff. I don't know. That's all I can say. I think a lot of the sightings that people are seeing could be from some of our own vehicles being back engineered from alien technology. That's a possibility. The TR-3B seems to be making its rounds again. There's been a couple of sightings as of a couple of days ago. So who knows?
It seems to be always a TR-3B. It's always that kind of triangle object that we see and spot, but then if you look back in the 50s, the 40s, I don't think we have a TR-3 back then. I don't think we did have anything like that they were spotting.
No, because
but we don't see the flying saucer anymore. Where the fuck is it? Pardon my French, but where's it gone? Where's the flying saucer gone? We don't see that anymore.
Well,
Do you know what I mean?
People still see
I'm
those
thinking.
things.
No,
People still see
we saw that. We saw the remake of that guy that was spinning off the what was it called now? The Billy Myers ripoff. I don't know if you remember that guy that did the same sort of Billy Myers.
Oh yeah,
effect.
with the tree in the background. Yeah.
That was the last flying saucer that I remember. But I can't remember the last time I saw a decent flying saucer.
A decent one, yeah.
I don't even know when I can't remember seeing one.
Maybe they retired it. I don't know.
You see bright lights. You see orbs. You see things that are kind of tic-tacky, things that are triangle, but you don't see the flying saucer anymore. It's gone. Now, either that was it was all just one big hoax, the flying saucer, and it was a time period from going from the 40s to the 70s into the 80s. But then with time, as how we progress when we get in how our cars are molded now, how they've changed the way they look, maybe people are thinking differently on how.
Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
No worries. On how the actual, I'm talking about the hoaxes here, of course, but how they want to portray an object in the sky. But I can't remember seeing a flying saucer for a long time.
It's been a few years. Yeah,
Other than that Billy Meyer thing. There
have been a few, actually. There have. I just can't remember where. I saw Third Phase of Moon said South America. I think I remember a couple from there. Mexico, I think there was one. But they're not. It's not like it's in the news like in the old days. Now everything's triangles and bright lights, flares or Chinese lanterns. Cigar shape used to be popular. That's right. We haven't seen much of those either. I wonder why that is. Unless
well, that's
everything's
kind of a cigar.
I think back in the day, maybe people were like getting a cigar, getting the camera ready, and just chucking the cigar in the air.
Yeah.
Or get the plate and chuck the plate in the air, and action. You know.
Or the most simplest answer is everybody's faking it because it's popular for the time.
It's a great title for a video. That
everybody's faking it.
Just weird. People think it's a sex video though, so we don't want that.
UFOs are sexy.
They are sexy. Yeah,
they will be. Like I'm worried though. Like, dude, this shit. Like, dude, things come out. We're gonna get overrun by like posers. It's going to be like comic books all over again.
Do you boys? I mean, I know we've had conversations about this and many debates about this, Rich. I can't remember. I think we've had a few conversations about Bob Lazar. What's both your thoughts about what? Do you think if anything happens disclosure-wise, it will be anything close to what Bob Lazar described? Rich is looking like, please don't ask me about Bob Lazar.
I'm saying just go to Osvaldo first.
Well, let it be. It could very well be. And even if it's not, people are so ignorant of the subject, they're going to rush to him as the UFO guy.
But you believe Bob Lazar?
They will. Yeah. I think he's telling the truth. I think there's something going on in that situation that is more than just nothing. I think it's more than just a story. I don't think George Knapp and all these other people are lying to back it up. Not at all.
Maybe Osvaldo, you know this. Was John Lear friends with anyone who worked at S4 before Bob Lazar was around? Do you know? Did he had friends? Didn't he?
He was involved. Like, I think he was a friend of Gene Huff's, and Gene Huff introduced Lazar to Lear, as I recall, and this was before their involvement in before his involvement in the program at S4. In fact, when as Bob Lazar says that he knew John Lear before, like he knew that UFOs were real. In fact, he used to feel bad. He said, "I felt bad for John Lear because he believed in UFOs." And then he got this crazy job, and then he found out that John Lear was, like, at least in that part, absolutely correct. That there were UFOs.
But who was Bob Lazar was friends with Lear, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Before he worked at S4?
Yeah.
Here's what my thought process was. I wanted to verify with you to double check my own memory, because what if the whole thing was a setup and they set Bob up and made him think he was going to S4 when he just went to a place to test a human subject? Because his credentials, he should have never been in that place. Even Bob said there's 100 people that are more intelligent than I am. You know, yeah. And why would they choose a recluse guy who works with brothels and is a shady guy in the chemistry
department? You have to understand. Listen, for you to say, like, listen, let me tell you something.
I didn't get to finish, but that's okay.
Oh, sorry, no, I'm sorry, but, like, listen.
It would have made sense.
With physicists, it's not unusual to find them in brothels, and I mean famous ones too, like Richard Feynman.
Owning them, though, he owned one.
Dude, you'd be surprised.
I know, it's Vegas, but I'm just saying that's not something the government wants.
It's physicists, actually.
But why would you have a guy? Bunch. You wouldn't want a guy who owns a brothel working for the FBI, CIA, or anybody else with a 3-letter thing. That's what I'm saying. They chose somebody.
Tell that to the people that work with Jeffrey Epstein.
They're all dead.
No, whoa. Let's not talk about Jeff on the Jeffrey on the channel.
I'm saying, man, you'd be surprised how often weird sex comes up in places you don't think it should.
I know it's all over. It's not the point I'm making, but why would they may have Bob Lazar go work on UFOs where just a month or a week before one exploded and killed 3 of their scientists? So let's bring Bob with no experience in the military or the government, with very limited, knowledge of UFOs. We'll have him look at an alien book. We'll put it on the table, and he'll flip through it and see UFOs and aliens.
Yeah, but this is the thing.
I think the whole thing was set up by John Lear and those people to get a reaction from the public if Bob went public with it, and they brought in Knapp and to break the story. I think the whole thing is a setup. That's why it's hard to find things on Bob. It's hard to find a lot of things proving where he went to school and all that shit. That's why his story doesn't hold up for me. It didn't hold up for Stanton Friedman. It doesn't hold up for a lot of people because there's a lot of holes in the story, and there shouldn't be.
Well, you have to understand, like, some part of what could have happened is maybe they hired him because. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah. No,
Okay.
we're just getting a tiny bit of echo. I don't know where it's coming
Yeah.
from.
Well, this is perhaps they hired him because they needed to get somebody quick, because they had just lost a bunch of people. And the thing is also, like, when it comes to big tech companies and the military, they hire people that have that don't have credentials, but say have high IQs. It's not impossible. You find genius level kids doing some very interesting stuff that they don't have credentials for, like 16, 17, but are doing it because they're the only people capable of doing it. Because at the end of the day, universities can't give you or take away an IQ from you an IQ of 180.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
That happens quite a bit in science and technology. They will pluck you out of school, dude. They will hire you off to do something. I don't think they don't, though. He has no degree. Yeah, but look what he's doing. And look what the guys with degrees are. They're not doing it. They're not capable of it. So that's to save time.
So what they had to do, they had to get a guy who's not really tied to anything. He's very expendable, and that's why they chose Bob. He's smart. Maybe
you have to understand, like, let's talk about, let's go into this because this leads into another situation. One of the things that TTSA and a bunch of other people have been talking about is that the problem is compartmentalization, that the compartmentalization is so strict that they need more people to work on this project, and that there's not as much progress as people might think because we don't have all the minds working on this that are capable of doing it. We have a few people working, like, literally in a basement somewhere, like maybe 30 people.
Your microphone is hitting the it's rattling against your microphone. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Ollie, did you still want Bryce's comment up there?
Yeah. The reason why I've left it up is because he's paid for it.
No, I know. I didn't know.
No, it's not that. It is actually a good question because do you remember the X-37?
Well, I know this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a good point there. I mean, that was 780 days in space, and we didn't know anything about it. And then this thing comes down. But then when you look at that thing, it literally looked like it was a little bit underwhelming. You know what I mean? It was, you saw this thing, and it looked like
a baby space shuttle.
Yeah, but it looked like it'd been taped together with masking tape.
Right.
Because it's made out of composite materials.
It's
made out of composite stuff, dude. All the new modern stuff looks like
no. What I'm saying, what I'm saying when it comes to the X-37, maybe we're supposed to see that. Maybe we're supposed to see this really shitty looking thing that comes down.
Oh yeah, no. I had a joke. I used to think that, like, they put like millions of dollars into a space probe, and it's like a box with a giant satellite dish that they just shove out, a rocket. And maybe they use the funding and they send it to S4. And then they just they just give us some telemetry, perhaps, just to satisfy.
Because I don't know if any of you guys remember there was an image that NASA put out, and it was quite a few years ago, and it was a mock-up of something that they was it was kind of a joke, but at the same time it's saying, like, if we had a warp ship, and they did this like craft that had like this dome around it. Not a dome, sorry. It had like this ring around it, and it had like the craft in the middle, and the craft reminded you a bit of the Starship Enterprise because it had that kind of rounded head. But that looked amazing, and then you get this X-37 that you just look at and you're like, I could have made that out of paper mache.
There's an echo going on.
Yeah, I can hear an echo. I think it's you.
I think
Is it me?
Osvaldo's next. You're next to your microphone with your headset, and we can hear it.
Hello?
No,
Hello.
it's only when we speak. Let's see. Stay there. Hold on. Hey, yo. Nope, still doing it.
Hey, oh,
Hello?
echo.
Echo. Yep, it's
Hello?
Osvaldo because when he
You
speaks.
started it.
Yeah, because when he
Hold on.
speaks, we don't hear it. When you and I speak, we hear it. So it's him.
Why am I set at a weird angle, too?
Do you have a? Where's your speakers? Are you hearing us through your head? The headphones?
Yeah.
So why would it be? You don't have a speaker on by accident, do you?
No.
Have you got both of them in your ear?
Yes. Does this help?
Well, it's only when we speak.
I'm going to mute my mic.
Hello, hello. Let
Hello?
me mute mine.
Hello.
Hello? I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yeah, but not Rich.
Shit. No, I was joking.
Now I can hear.
All right,
Yeah,
I
okay.
was joking. Man,
There's Oz, do me a favor. Turn the audio down a little bit on your.
just to see, yeah.
Could be that. Turn it down to about halfway.
How's that?
Hello, hello. Yep, that helped.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Perfect. You've got a loud. You must have loud earphones.
But listen, I'm gonna have to go in a bit, but I want to bring something up that people need to be aware of.
Shoot.
And like this is the big thing. I think that this is the big thing, not the article that came out. There's a think tank in Israel, and it's called the Ben Sadat Center for Strategic Studies. They come out of a place called Bar Levain University in Israel. Pardon me, I butchered that. But where's Rich?
He's watching. He's just probably.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, they released basically they do threat assessments for that region of the world. And so since our military was talking about how this is a threat, they went ahead and they decided to do an assessment of this threat. And I think everybody needs to read this. And it's 58 pages. It's fantastic. It's like really, really deep. And it goes into a lot of very interesting aspects about this, including the potentials for weapons with like this type of gravity control.
Is that the debrief?
Yes.
Okay, I'll drop it into the chat.
No, not the debrief. Not the debrief. No, it's this is something separate from the debrief.
Yeah.
Did you?
I thought it was on their website though.
No, this is something else, and it's like not a lot of people are talking about this just yet in ufology, but I think they're going to start because this is amazing. And basically, these guys they spend a lot of time talking about the stuff that TTSA has been putting out, and some of these other things about like crash retrieval programs and stuff. And these people are like amazing. Like these guys are like really who they claim to be, and these are people with PhDs. And
Oz, why are they amazing?
because like it's very interesting that these guys that basically are intelligence analysts are basically saying the same stuff that like we've been saying, and a lot of the pro TTSA people have been saying for quite some time now. I'm telling you, I think that this is a sign of things to come.
What's the name of the article? Do you know the name of it?
Yeah, it's the it's the Bien Sadat Center for Strategic Studies. Damn it, no, I didn't have the name, but I sent. Oliver has the link.
You sent the link.
You sent it to me too. I have it. That's right.
Have you got it? Have you got it, Rich? Perfect.
Like you need to check this out. Like they speak about a lot of very
screen
interesting.
share if you want, Rich.
I'm pulling it up.
Why do I look like this, man?
Yeah, it's weird. Before the show, you were so clear.
Yeah, this is strange, and I can't get a good angle of myself. The fuck?
Hold on, I thought I saw
I feel
it
like
here.
that
Here we
every
go.
day. Also, when I look in the mirror, I think I can't get the right angle. Don't worry about it.
Let me see if this is it. Here we go. This just now. Here we go. Nope, that was the craft pulled from the ocean one.
Oh no, that's the Greer story.
Yeah.
No. Oliver, you have it.
Ollie, you want to send it to him? Oh, you don't know where it is, or you'd put it up. That's right.
What's it called, Doz?
He doesn't remember.
It's a PDF.
Is it the Milburn study?
Is it a PDF?
It looks like a PDF, yeah.
That's it.
Okie dokie. I'll. How the?
Like they did a whole thing about like the defense capabilities of these types of devices, and there's like what you can do with gravity control.
Do me a favor. Go find that PDF on our thing and send it to Rich because I can't pull it off.
I can't do it right now.
Yeah. When you were. Well, bear me a second.
I think. Does it mention General Wilson in there and stuff?
Yes.
I have it right here. Then.
Perfect. There you go.
It mentions a lot of these things, but it's basically. I'm saying, dude, if these guys independently came up with a lot of the same pro TTSA stuff, and also they talk about the Wilson memo as well. That says a lot.
Is this it?
No, that's the debrief.
Oh, that's what I. So is it? It's not under the intelligence authorization or
It's
anything?
a PDF. It's not a website.
I know, but I didn't know if you sent it to me differently. Okay. All right, so we don't have it available.
Okay. I'll try and get it across.
If you get it, put in the link in the description then or something. That's what you could do, Ollie.
Hey, listen, fellas, I'm gonna have to run.
Okay.
Yeah, Oz, do me a favor when you run off.
I'll
send the link to Rich.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
But like they go into details like how these things function, how they can be getting here and there. They are taking portals seriously.
Okay. Wow.
So this is another time that portals are coming up, and like honestly, it looks like this might be something that's going to be here to stay.
Well, it was a heck of a good conversation, man. Thank you for letting me pick your brain, and I think I learned a little something from you today, so I appreciate that.
Oh, always. I wish I had more time.
Yeah, I'll get you to more and more because then I don't have to say anything because literally I was mesmerized. Jesus, but I this is what I wanted though. I wanted the kind of debate to happen. So because I think it's interesting to see two people's different views on what's going on with disclosure, and that's exactly why I wanted you both on together.
All right.
Had an ex person there. Well, Osvaldo Franco, thank you very much for joining us. Rich, are you okay to stay on for a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Coolio.
All right, fellas. I'll speak to you later. I'll send that to you, Rich.
All right,
mate.
Osvaldo.
I'll
You have a
later,
good day, my friend. Have a good night.
You too. Everybody stay safe and healthy.
Hey, if I don't talk to you, have a good Christmas.
You too. Yeah. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody.
Oh, you too, man. I was going to say God bless, and then I remembered. Why bother? I swear it was. That was fun. He made some really good points, and I appreciate that, man.
Where you said to me before, you said, "Look, I'm going to grill him," and I said to Oz, "Look, Rich is going to grill you," a grilled Osvaldo.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. DB Cooper, my friend. It's not quite finished. Not quite finished. Me and Rich can have a bit of a chat. So, yeah, I mean, I knew that was going to happen.
Well, it was kind of predictable in a way because he really believes that TTSA is doing a lot of good. And they did when they first started, but what's good now? That's all I want to know. And he's talking about they're going to release this. Here, he sent me the PDF file already. You want me to put it up?
Yeah, pop it up, mate. I know you like walls. I've put your wall up.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah, I love that wall.
I know you like walls.
I like walls. I like walls so much that I've got a wall for myself, see?
Don't ask. Oh, yeah. I think you need to keep the TTSA.
I know, that's why I left it. I was flipping through them here and there, and I was like, I just went back to this one.
That background is. I wonder if they do their kind of like presentations with that background. I'm sure they must do because it's made for that.
Well, I think I got it off Google, Google Images.
No, I'm saying I wonder if they do their presentation. I wonder if that background was made for them to do their kind, to like add anything they wanted to in the middle.
Oh, right. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it looks like that.
Everything they do is with the thought of how making things better, because that's TTSA. All right, here it is. Let me open it
Just
up.
don't ask me to read it, please, Rich.
No, I'll read it.
You read so much better than I do.
I'll try to read it. It's taking its time. It's a big file here. Holy small. All right, there it is. So let me pull it up for you guys, just so you know what to look for. And are you going to put this link in the description anyway?
Yes.
Or not really?
Is it? No, I'll pop it in.
It's only 2.5 megabytes.
How do you put, when I'm right clicking on the download, it won't let me actually select the file to copy the file.
He sent it to you too?
Yeah, he's just sent me the link. Oh no, it's a different link. There you go. Yeah. No, literally all I've got. Will it let you put it in the description?
Well, you have to accept it.
Or do I?
I can't put the link in your description in the show. There it is.
I'll tell you what, I'll pop it in the proper description. Why am I hearing myself twice?
Yeah, I hear it too through here very lightly, but I hear you.
Okay,
I know why. Because you didn't check off that button. Remember in the settings? Go into settings and audio. We'll fix it.
Okay, I got double this if you laugh. What? Just
and have it. Do you have echo cancellation on?
I'll tell you what, Rich. I'm going to mute myself while you go balls deep in this.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. Well, I'm not going to go balls deep because I don't read that much anymore, but this is what he was saying. It's the Begin Sadat Center for Strategic Studies, the Pentagon's UAP task force. This is from Frank Milburn. And, it just here goes through everything. It's my first time looking at it, so forgive me. Ollie, you may want to go put this on the big screen and cut us out of here so it's easier for other people to see it. Just take us both off. Yeah, I don't know if it helped that much, but it does for now. It says it's an independent, nonpartisan think tank conducting policy-relevant research on Middle Eastern and global strategic affairs, particularly as they relate to the national security and foreign policy of Israel and regional peace and stability. My God. It is named in memory of Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat, whose efforts in pursuing peace laid the cornerstone for conflict resolution in the Middle East. So far, it doesn't say anything about UFOs, but I'm sure it will. Let's see. The former study served as a forum for publication on republication of research conducted by BESA, or BESA. So they're just taking works that are out there and they're putting it in here. It's a publication of a work by BESA signifies that it is deemed worthy of public consideration, but does not imply endorsement of the author's views or conclusions. So they get these stories, they think they're worthy of discussion, and they put it in here without having an opinion or a thought on it. Research staff, there's all the people in here. Executive summary. In 2020, the Senate Select Committee of Intelligence unveiled its UAP task force. Yeah, we know about this. At the Office of Naval Intelligence, a successor to the ATIP. This paper dives down the rabbit hole with Defense Department insiders, scientists, and declassified material to find answers to a host of questions. Are mystery craft near-peer advisory platforms or exotic U.S. platforms? What is the technology behind them? What kind of threat do they pose? What are the geostrategic implications? And what are we not being told? So that's in essence what they're doing here, Ollie. So without reading it all, since it's 50-something pages, you can see here when you look at the file that they give you a bunch of stats, and they talk about the Nimitz encounter and the 5 observables, and it's pretty good. What I'm seeing here is pretty darn interesting. They're doing the ATP and the ATIP comparison, a study comparison on those two groups. There's a lot of stuff in here I think that's definitely worthy of everybody seeing. So I'll also put this on my show later, and I know you'll put the link in the description. It's pretty cool. Any questions? I don't hear you, brother. You're muted. There you are.
Do you not think, though, that over the past, five, how long's TTSA been going? Because recently, I've been seeing so many articles since TTSA has gone live with other people and backing up what they're saying. And I'm like, I see these same articles backing it up, but then they back it up with these people that are kind of up high and so on. So there's always name dropping. And I'm like, okay, but as a small person, as just the average Joe, because I'm not, people think that I'm massively like somebody who reads into ufology and looks into it and is massive. I'm not a ufologist. I'm interested to know people's opinions on it. I'm interested in people's stories on it. I'm interested in the sexy stuff, That's what I like. I can't sit through and read these articles. I just can't do it. And the reason, even if I wasn't dyslexic, I probably still couldn't do it because I have no trust for any of these corporations that are name dropping constantly. So I'm kind of like my own singular person that is I'm just like the subscribers. I'm just somebody who's looking at this information and just going, oh yeah, okay, so what you got next for me?
So what we call that is you're a headliner. You like the headline stories and the exciting, sexy stuff that everybody's talking about. This is something that people will be talking about for a very long time. That's how I'm looking at this, while we're talking, and I can see what went into it. But looking at this, it's not anything new to me.
Yeah. So from what you've just showed us there, I'm hearing the same stuff that I've seen articles like this sent to me all the time.
Well, that's what this is. That's exactly what this is. They take the best of all the stories and they put it into their files. That's all this is. It's nothing new.
It's good. Don't get me wrong.
It's great.
I'm not knocking what Osvaldo's just sent. This again, Oz, if you're watching the back of this, thank you so much for coming on, my friend. Hope Rich has not put you off coming on again.
But they talk.
You were such a bastard, Rich.
No, I don't think so.
I'm joking.
No, I thought those were great questions.
No, yeah,
and
definitely.
He didn't back down to them at all. But in this article, they say tic-tac tech, and they talk about tic-tac weapons. How do they know? How do they know if there's any weapons? I'm looking at
maybe that's the little. I mean, it's the dangly things. The dangly things underneath the tic-tac. Maybe they're guns.
They might be. I mean, they're not saying anything new. Oh, it folds space into a warp drive. Yeah, all right. Nothing new. Anyway, it is a good article. What it does, it gives you cliff notes of the last 4 years of technology, of ufology. That's what it's doing. That's what this is.
Osvaldo's telling you to read it.
I am. I will.
No, Oz, he thinks this is a great article. And
yeah,
I'm going to get my wife to read it to me.
But he's in here. It says advanced conscious. See, I'm going through everything, and I have seen all of this before. Just like you said, this is stuff that's been drabbed out in the last couple of years, and we get pieces of it in other articles. Old school UFO weapon theories. Yeah, I know all those too. Dr. Robert Wood is in here. British intelligence assessment. That would be nice to read. I'm always interested in the other parts of the globe and what they're doing. World War II stuff. It's evident that the Americans were not only the ones losing control of their own nukes due to incursions by UFOs over highly sensitive launch sites. See, that's amazing stuff, and I'm hearing the echo again. The Soviets also lost aircraft according to Britain's DI-55, and pilots considered UFOs a defined threat. A definite threat.
I keep
That's crazy.
hearing that over and over again.
But that's interesting.
It's interesting, but I don't... E.T., the extraterrestrial, in my beliefs, if he's visiting the Earth, okay, he's not a threat. He's been here for long enough. The threat's already probably been and gone. What's threatening about it? Is it because it's in our airspace? Because that's a foreign object? Are they saying that this could collide with?
Yes. And we don't know their intentions. We don't know what the aliens are doing there. Why are they there? If they're there, that means they can go anywhere, and they don't like that. And I understand that threat of it. But until they actually laser beam something into oblivion, the threat is our paranoia.
Yeah, but Rich, so you guys in the US call it threat constantly. We've got special guests tonight. Welcome, DarkHour Paranormal, my friend.
Hey, what's going on, boys?
I wanted to carry on the threesome.
Oh my God, this is
enjoying
great.
it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, Ollie.
Well, no, you're welcome, mate. You're welcome. I want you to add your bacon and eggs to this. Are you a vegetarian, though, aren't you?
No, I used to be. Not anymore, though.
You used to be, okay.
I enjoy my steak.
Welcome back.
Cheers.
So yeah, when they're using the word threat, and this is what I hear all the time coming from mainly TTSA, to be honest with you, and then Greer says, no, they're not a friend. They're not a threat. We could quite easily have a barbecue with them and invite them around for dinner. They're nice people. But in the UK, we don't none of this gets said, and the people that are in our government don't really speak about it. We don't hear much about it. We hear the stories coming from different media outlets. That's it.
You know why? Because TTSA is an American thing. That's why. It's not. If it was in your country, it'd be your thing.
So why do we not have a British TTSA?
That's a good question.
Because we're greedy and we.
I'm going to start it. I'm going to start it. I'm a greedy bastard.
Well, look, I always find it interesting that anybody who is a spokesperson for extraterrestrial presence always seems to blanket statement, for all alien extraterrestrials, in the planet. I mean, maybe the government is working with those or sees those that are threatening to them. And maybe Greer is getting in contact with higher vibrational ones that, have a different intention. Why does it have to all just be, this one big group that we call aliens? I mean, there's other species there.
Because they need to get funding.
Yes.
You can get funding from the government. You have to let them know there's a threat, and they'll fund to stop a threat.
On a practical level, absolutely.
Do you know, Rich, if Tom or Lou or, Hal or any of the guys, Chris, Melon, Face, clicks on this, he's going to literally... He's going to see you with the TTSA in the background and think this guy's got our back. He's got our back. How wrong they are.
And I do have a Space Force hat on, so it's very confusing. What's going on?
So DarkHour, what's your opinion? So obviously you've watched the debate between Rich and me just drinking the wine. You've watched the debate between Rich and Osvaldo.
That was awesome, by the way.
I was thoroughly enjoying it. That's why I was just like, I thought it was on my couch watching, and then I thought, oh shit, it's my show. But no, I thought I needed to let them kind of just.
No, that was the good. Yeah, that's what I would have done. The same thing. Yeah.
Between what was said between Rich and Osvaldo? What's your opinion on it?
Well, here's an observation I made that I think you guys did as well, and that Osvaldo is very invested in TTSA, and maybe for him that's where he's always gotten the bulk of his information, or maybe he was somebody who had emotional connection to them early on in their development, but for whatever reason that's where he's invested in. I don't want to really make this parallel, but I will because it reminded me of this. Sometimes when you talk to a very religious person, when you get to that wall where they're maybe going to have to think a little bit outside of their box of beliefs, they'll always refer back to where they got their answers, and that's usually a volume of text, like the Bible or the Quran or something like that. And I feel that, there are a lot of people in these organizations that we talk about that are invested in that way, that when it finally comes time to think, and I'm not saying that that's necessarily completely reflective of Osvaldo, because the guy obviously has his own mind, and he's, very intelligent and can at least express what he's saying. But I think that there are some people who go that route. So in the end, they're not actually going to think for themselves, even though they're in an organization that, supposedly supports that sort of work. But it's not the case.
But
Now,
what's your
Yep.
views on TTSA?
I actually, my views are in line with what Rich was saying. Yes, in the beginning, they did start off with great intentions, and they may have brought some things to light for that time. But since then and now, I just don't see the strength in that group any longer. And Tom DeLonge, as being somebody who's at the head, I mean, he walked off Joe Rogan's show. And what for? Because Rogan was pressing for answers to get him to talk. I mean, that's what he was there for. And when I saw that, I mean, I was already disappointed in the guy. But when I saw that, I said, well, okay, something's not right here. Why isn't this person who supposedly is out there as a spokesman for, the organization, why doesn't he want to talk?
I heard he left because after he talked about his penis, he got a text and said, "Get out of there now."
Oh, Jesus.
That's
Okay, well, I
the
didn't know
rumor.
that.
That's the rumor that I heard. Yeah. But you have to understand, with TTSA, it's turned political. And they have a lot of the far left side supporting this group. And that's what they are. They're on Twitter a lot. I know what their affiliation is with the left. And they are getting, even though Marco Rubio isn't, I think he's conservative, though. So it's interesting that they're actually working with Rubio as well to try to get this, in the government as verbiage that we can say, look, UFOs are real. We need funding. It's a threat. And that's what that has gone to. And but there has to be a bipartisan agreement. They just can't have one side doing it. So they had to get Rubio involved, and that's what that was about. That was a political stand for TTSA to say, we're bipartisan, and we're going to work with Rubio. He's a Republican. We're Democrats, and we don't want anybody to say we're not bipartisan. And I think that was part of that little scenario at that time as well.
I mean, for anybody who's been watching my channel for a long time, which is probably not many people in the chat, but no, there's a few. But I used to speak very highly of TTSA, and Tom DeLonge as well. I thought what the guy had done and brought these people together. I thought that was amazing. He's brought all these people together. Really, really cool, and very, very, very ambitious, and just wow. And I took my hat off to him. But I feel like it's kind of like he's lost the reins on this. This is not his not his company anymore. It's like
Lost it on the Rogan show.
Well, yeah, but if it's his, so for example,
It wasn't a his. You know how it got started, right? TTSA. It wasn't Tom DeLonge. He was chosen by not Podesta. What's the other guy?
The general. He was that general.
What's his name again? I forget.
General, I forgot.
Anyway, he
Can't remember his name
took
either.
Tom in because Tom was inquiring. So I think they had this idea. All right, I'll help you get some people. You need some people? How would a guy of a lead singer of a Blink-182 have access? That's why. Because he got help. And they created this thing and figured out a way that maybe we can find the truth about UFOs. And you know what happens when you're involved in government. Then it's like, well, what can you do? What do you need? And here's what we need. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's gotten to a point where it just seems like it's all about a threat now.
It does.
I kind of feel like Tom's intentions, though, are good. I
Not
don't know. I don't know about the company.
I don't know. He still seems like a poster boy, and perhaps that's
what I'm saying.
what was the
I'm saying.
intention.
So
Yeah.
I don't think his intentions are bad with this. I think everything that he's probably done with this. I mean, I watched a video of him. Back in the day, most of my friends were into Blink-182. I tolerated it. It was no. And
Yeah.
you know, when I'd had a few beers and there were few before the wife, a few girls round, you know. And we were listening to a bit of Blink 182 as teenagers. It was kind of cool, and it wasn't to my absolute taste, but I enjoyed it. You know, I grew up with it, and I thought, and I could see my friend was massively into it, and he used to show me like interviews with Blink 182, and Tom DeLonge spoke about UFOs back then in a passionate way. So he's always been passionate about this subject. Him back then is probably like me now, you know. Well, no, actually, I'm same age as I'm 40 years old this year, so I'm probably about the same age as Tom. Osvaldo Franco's still in the chat. If you want to come back in and debate it more, get back in. We'll do a foursome. I've always wanted a foursome.
It was Hal Putoff, right? That was the guy who started TTSA. Hal Putoff.
It was Hal.
Right.
Was it Hal? Right. Okay.
You see it now. I'm getting
that.
Yeah, Hal Putoff. Now I'm a little confused because Tom DeLonge did not walk off the Joe Rogan show. I thought he was on there 2 times. The first time he didn't. He stayed the whole 3 hours.
Then it was the second time I must have seen.
I don't think it was Joe Rogan.
I kept my mouth shut then because I thought maybe I didn't watch the entire interview.
I remember. I don't think it was.
I can't remember.
Yeah, because he
off.
didn't walk off. I remember him saying, "Well, thanks for coming on," and they said their goodbyes. I've seen that interview.
What the hell did I
think
see
it was
then?
another show.
I know the fact that Tom looked like he was about to die when he saw Joe Rogan's face when he showed the TR3B.
Oh my God, that was so funny. Joe goes, "Are you serious?" Joe Rogan, this is a fake. Everybody knows that. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, I don't know if he was trying to explain the technology and that is exactly how, maybe saying that's exactly how it worked, or if he was saying...
He said, it's real. He said, this is a real video.
Yeah,
and he goes, you're going to love it when you see it. And Joe goes, I've seen this. It's fake.
There was something he put out on Twitter, because I didn't even get a chance to look at it. Osvaldo Franco sent me the link for it. I clicked on it. It had been removed. And UFO of Interest had done a debunk on it.
On which
I can't remember. On Twitter. Apparently Tom DeLonge put something out. That was it. It was like a ball. Like a floating,
Yeah.
As you do. Floating ball. Going over the water. And apparently it'd been faked.
Something that this was shot at. I think these airplanes or helicopters. Something like that. I don't know. He also lied about saying, oh, you're going to love the last episode. There's evidence that a UFO shoots down a helicopter, and it was nothing like that. Remember that in the last episode of Season 1 of Unidentified? No? All right.
Season, no, yeah. Sorry, Rich. Sorry, Rich. I was reading a comment from DB Cooper there.
Oh, okay.
And my mind can't... This is why I need somebody, I need like one of those little guys in this corner that just kind of like says things to me, says, right, you need to read this one. It's important.
Yeah, no, that was, yeah, he's right. I had that in the intro. Yeah.
Rich, you've got somebody.
I've got what?
You've got somebody on your show.
What do you mean?
Well, you always talk to somebody and tell them that,
yeah.
Why the hell do I have to do this? Surely that's your job. That's what I need.
These people here?
Yeah.
And those people in the balcony. What's up, guys? Yeah, it's where COVID, we're doing the thing. So there's like 8 people in the balcony when usually like 200.
Full house.
And then my mother's over there making meatballs. Not now, but that's where the kitchen is.
Oh, send me a meatball. So you're with Rich on this then?
Yeah, I'm definitely with Rich on this. I mean, it just, when you're looking at the whole situation, that's what I'm seeing. That's what you see. They're not doing anything different today. They're not making any progressive strides that I can tell, at least that are noteworthy. It's the same thing with MUFON. I mean, how many people have contacted MUFON with different not to bring it to MUFON, but how many people have contacted MUFON with their own stories that, do actually have some gravity, and they sit and they wait and they wait and they wait. And then MUFON never ends up getting back to them. Maybe they get the first initial address. Maybe they send them the material that they have and they're like, great, we're going to look through this. We'll let you know. And they just never hear from them again.
I'm talking about John there. John's been speaking to them.
He's one of them that I know. I know about 3 people that have contacted MUFON over different, stories that they've had, but John is definitely one of them. I'm just very disappointed. You know what I mean? Although I didn't expect them to get back,
I just said I said drop them.
I told them the same thing.
Don't need them.
You don't need them at all.
Don't need MUFON. We've got GUFON. Why would we need MUFON? Rich, you should go with GUFON and make your own actual research group. You've got the name, just the G replaces the M.
I don't want to work that hard. It's a lot of work.
No, neither would I.
I just want to worry about what I'm doing and what everybody else is.
So DarkHour, I wanted to get you on for this one because I wanted to ask you the same question that Rich and Osvaldo was debating over.
Mm-hmm.
When do you see disclosure hitting?
I don't.
No.
If anything, I think it's an individual conviction at this point that, you're going to find it internally before anybody talks about it and disrupts the paradigm the social paradigm that we live in. It's just not going to happen unless somehow power shifts drastically in our upper echelons of governments and people know, then we're just never going to know. And, the game might be that they bait us along. They're masters at misdirection, absolute magicians. So I really don't think we're going to see disclosure the way that people would like to see it. I don't think there's anybody who's going to come out and formally say, this is what it is. We have a craft. This is my friend, Exanu from the Pleiades. It's just not going to happen.
No, I never seen it. We would see it happening like that. But this drip that we get, this constant drip of little different things. At what point do we decide? Hang about here. I'm soaking wet. I am literally dripping in. Disclosure. I know the answer myself.
That's what I'm saying.
So the whole world turns around and says, "Well, we know the answer." So they could turn around and say anything, and it wouldn't shock anybody because we've already been dripped it for that long. So we've kind of accepted it.
At this point, the most hopeful outcome I can see is that pretty much everybody comes to their own conclusions, agree about that conclusion, and it becomes a collective consensus. But I still think people put too much stock into what the governments are telling them, too much stock in what the militaries are conveying. And again, I think that we're throwing certain threads, like even with Tucker Carlson and what he was reporting on with the off-world vehicles, they're throwing us little threads to see if we'll chase them around the room, knowing very well that we're going to, most of us, just to see where it originated from so we can get any validity on it. In doing that, who knows what's going on behind the scenes, what they're doing while we're distracted by, even Area 51. I don't totally think as time goes on that Area 51 is exactly what people say it is. And that the events that happened there with the Greys and so forth, it actually happened that way. I mean, there's a lot of conflicting evidence that these stories were concocted for a specific purpose. Whether we today consider that purpose relevant, it really goes case by case. But man, I don't know.
Rich, the conversation that you had on the show with the guy that claimed to work for Fox News after you did an announcement video where you said, Tucker Carlson, we need to talk. It was something we called something like that. And you did a little short video saying, look, and then have you ever heard anything again from that person? Or do you think it was a hoax? Or do you think it was something a little bit weird? Because it was very professionally done.
Well, thanks. Yeah, I
don't mean you. I mean the guy that brought you up.
Oh, well, it was that too.
And you too.
See, what happened was I get an email, and it was from his intern, supposedly. And the email didn't have any heading on it or anything. It says, someone watched your video, the show's producer wants to talk to you. What is your number? And I said, I don't know who you are. I said, what? I go, this is how you contact. I mean, I was actually a dick because I thought somebody was pulling my leg. And I'm like, so this is how you contact somebody? No header. You don't say, nice day, how you doing? None of that stuff. And the guy goes, we're very busy over here. So if you don't know how it works, I'm sorry. But we need a number to have him call you. He'll call you in 30 minutes. And I talked to Third Phase, and they said, yeah, that's how it happens, because they know how shit goes down. So I said, all right, here's the number. I gave him the number, and the guy called while I was on the show. He didn't call in 30 minutes, called like an hour later. And when I talked to him at first, I didn't think it was real. And then he started talking more professionally, like you heard. And I'm like, oh, man, this might be real. And
sorry to interrupt.
And then I haven't talked.
Everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat was saying this is real.
Yeah, this is definitely how it's done, because the guy was talking to me, trying to get a feel whether I'm crazy, see what I know, see how I may react. He was vetting me basically for 40 minutes. Yeah, and then I haven't heard back. He said, well, he goes, if anything, we want to get this done sooner than later, so I'll probably call you next week. And then some stuff went down with the president. I think he caught COVID or something like that. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it, but
no, it's fine. We're not saying much about it, so it's okay.
Yeah. So then I figured, okay, now it's election time. He didn't have time to call, so I called it a couple of days ago, and it went straight to voicemail, and I haven't tried back since. So I was thinking about reaching out again, but I don't know what to do. I know, why would... See, during that whole thing, to me it sounded like somebody was acting, and then what happened is the guy got comfortable knowing he was on the show, because he would stop himself from saying some things that you shouldn't say if you were on a show, but if you were in a private conversation, you would have said it. So I think I may have been duped. I don't know, man. But I said all along, this ain't ever going to happen. And everybody, no, it's real, it's real, it's real. And I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. And it didn't. It hasn't, and it won't.
Well, yeah, but one thing, when you told me, check this out, the guy that was on last night, obviously because of our time zones, I never get to come on live, but you said, check this out. I said, I really thought the guy was just pulling my leg. But then towards the end, I'm like, is this real? And you asked for my opinion. And I started to listen. I thought, this is just a prank phone call. But then the more and more I listened, I thought, this is so well done. This guy has done his if this is a prank phone call, this guy has done his research. And why go to all that effort just to, and no disrespect, to call a small show? We are small channels. Why do that? Just to call? If that's a prank, that's something that's gone to a lot of effort. A hell of a lot of effort.
Yeah, he talked like somebody who knew how the things work in journalism almost. I got that feeling. He knows the ins and outs. But that could just be, he could have been an intern years ago. Who knows what experience this guy had. Believe me, I thought of it all because I'm very skeptical. When you put a video out and somebody contacts you, do you know how rare that is? It's 1 in a billion. So I wasn't having my hopes up. And I'm glad.
It's like the thing with Corbell contacting me. I contact him back. He has a conversation. He asks for my number. I give him my number. Nothing.
Yeah.
Was it even him? I don't know. But it came from his email. So
yeah, I meant to ask you if anything happened after. I know we talked before, but since then,
nothing.
Nothing.
He said in the email he didn't want to come on the show yet. He just said, he said, I like what you do. He said, you get a couple of things wrong about Bob, and maybe I'd like to clear that up with you. So he said, you can ask as many questions as you want, just me and you, through a phone call. So I thought, cool. Yeah, I'll take the opportunity. I'll do that. But I haven't heard anything back. So I just emailed him back. Yeah, there was a couple of messages back, email going forward, and they said, listen, can we do this over WhatsApp? So I gave him my number and nothing. So weird.
Yeah, some of these guys just fall to the wayside, and I think most of the time it's just because they're busy doing something else, and if it doesn't appeal to them at that very moment, or they've moved on from it, that's pretty much it. You're left behind.
Or they see a video that puts them off.
Yeah, that, well, in some cases, yeah.
Well, I know from my experience, somebody will email me and I'll say, okay, I'll watch your video and I'll get back to you, and then something happens and then something else happens, and I read it, I just didn't reply because it's a long reply, and then other stuff happens, or I get sick, and next thing you know, 10 days have gone by and I didn't reply, and I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry I didn't get back to you, and they're like, yeah, whatever. You know, some people are nice, but I know they're upset because I would be too.
It's hard because
it's hard.
Even being channels of this sort of size, you get people don't realize how many emails and how many people. Some people just reaching out and telling you a story, and then you kind of like, well, do you want to come on the story? You've got a great story. They're like, John, and no, I don't want to come on. I just wanted to tell you my story. It's like, well, but then there's the people that just say, I seen a UFO once. Can I come on the show?
Yeah.
What can I do with that?
But it's not just your show. Then for me, it's everything else: Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I mean, we're getting we're getting this stuff all day, and I don't know. It's fun, but it's hard to get to everybody, and I feel bad. So I understand if a news guy who works for Fox can't get back to me. I'm a little UFO guy. That's not on the top of their list.
No.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this field is it's a complete minefield. It really is. And I think for anybody, somebody messaged me the other day saying, I'm thinking of starting up a UFO channel. I felt like saying, don't do it.
Right. Don't
start a UFO channel. You know, enjoy the subject and stay in this kind of like, watch the YouTube videos, enjoy it. Don't do this bit, because people don't realize that doing this bit kind of, it gets you behind sometimes in what's going on, because you've got so much going. So many people tell you this, so many people tell you that. You, as a creator as well, when you've got an audience to look after, sometimes you don't know what to do, because the audience are telling you one thing when you know it's the wrong thing that they're actually telling you, because you totally disagree with it. It's right. Like Osvaldo Franco. I love him to pieces, but I totally disagree when he's telling me. I used to be a total atheist. I'm not anymore. Too much weird shit goes on this planet.
Well, it threw me off when he said, let's keep metaphysics out of this. Let's keep spirituality out of this. That really threw me for a loop. I don't see how you can, honestly, I can't see how you can have one without the other, because of, you know, maybe what these beings are and what they're purportedly able to do. So,
well, that's why I said, well, that goes against your telepathy thing.
Yeah.
See, I still think, I know what he's saying about telepathy, that it comes to you as a thought, not as words. It comes to you as, it's a message without words. I get that. But isn't that the same thing? There's no words. You're getting a message somehow, whether it be with or without words. It's a message. So if alien is giving me, if an alien is saying hi to me, and I feel the hi, I feel his welcomeness, and I know he's saying hi. What's different if I hear him say, hello, you know, I'm the alien in front of you. It's still telepathy.
I agree 100%. A lot of times they say when, you know, these beings are interacting, they are hearing voices that might be disembodied at the same time that they're having that feeling, at the same time that they're being shown a mental image, which they then interpret and understand personally, you know, in the context of whatever conversation they're having on this wavelength. So yeah, man, I agree with that.
Wait, who did Quincy? You sent this to me? Is this where he walked off the show?
Yeah,
Joe
I was
Rogan?
just in the middle of actually following that up by saying, or are these like doctored clips that are put together that I just fell for, you know, but this is what I saw.
You'll have to send me that as well.
I can send it to you as well, yeah.
Because I never saw it. I mean, maybe it's a new Mandela effect.
I mean, I know it's something that's sort of clipped together, but
it looks like the show and I don't even know about it.
Yeah, well,
maybe I didn't stick around till the end.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong.
People in the chat, did Tom DeLonge stick
Wait a
stick around?
second. This
I
is
misinterpreted
fake.
this?
This is a mashed up clip.
Okay, that's what I was asking.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah,
thank
because when Tom DeLonge
Thank you.
stands up, Joe Rogan is still looking down. So why, if he's walking away, Joe Rogan would do this, but he's still talking. That's at the end when he leaves and he says goodbye. He gets up and you see the chair empty. Yeah,
that's why. Yeah. Okay. Yep. That's why I was going to ask you: is this something that was doctored and put together? Because I fell for it.
This should be flagged, and that's bullcrap, man.
I was going to say I would play it, but I'll probably get flagged for having it.
No. You don't need to do that. Believe me, it's not even worth it.
No, it's from another channel called Regular Bender. It got almost 100,000 views for bullcrap.
Regular what?
Regular Bender. He's on a bender.
Are you familiar with Regular Bender?
I am not.
No. Well, you
Should
might
I
be soon.
be?
I don't know. Do you like Joe Rogan? Do you like Tom DeLonge?
I like benders. What am I saying?
I do not speak like. Do I speak like that?
No, I'm doing a very bad accent on purpose.
No, you're doing good. That's good English. That's my mum. My mum speaks that sort of English.
Well, that's the proper English, yeah.
I struggle to speak properly. I can't do it.
I thought a bender was when you go out drinking all night. You go out on a bender.
It can
I
be.
thought it was too.
A bender can be a few things. One is a really derogatory word.
That's the other one I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that would only make sense.
But I don't think YouTube's algorithm will pick up on it. So
No, I don't think so.
No,
on that
not
one.
bender.
no. But yeah, the Joe Rogan thing. Joe Rogan really is kind of like he's getting these people that are in the field, like the Tom DeLonge. He's getting the Bob Lazar. He's getting the David Fravor.
Mm-hmm.
I've predicted that he will get Lou Elizondo to kind of like repair the damage that. Well, I say damage, but he didn't do a lot. Did he do a lot of damage? Would you say? He definitely got a phone call. Tom, he definitely got a phone call through that show.
Yeah, he was told that you need to leave. You need to end it. I don't know. I didn't see him.
If that's God.
I don't know. It looked like he was looking at his phone every now and then, but I don't know. I thought they ended it. The show was over. It was 3 hours, and that was the end of the show. It didn't seem like he left early because of it. So, there's a lot of rumors going on around that because of this video. This fake video.
Well, I fell for it. Well, I questioned it. That's for damn sure.
You didn't fall for it. You were
Darko,
shown something, and it doesn't look like it was... Unless you've seen the original, you wouldn't know.
Well, I mean, I've only seen probably half of the original, so I didn't know if I had missed something at the end. And again, it was something I saw quickly on the clips, and I was like, wait a minute, the hell? Okay. So briefly, I looked up, the actual episode, but I never watched it again because I had figured that was what it was. So, man, that's my fault though.
It's kind of scary what other creators can do, though, to big YouTube creators to kind of like mess around with them. This is the same thing with UFO videos. People could just take something from a film, edit it, and make it look like it's a real thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
That's
we see that a lot.
ufology.
Yeah.
Welcome to the field.
Yeah, and going back to what you're saying, if anybody wants to start up in the field, I recommend, you do it differently than the way everybody else is doing it. I don't know. Starting up because everything's being compressed. It's hard to grow a channel in ufology or the paranormal in general now, unless you're Ghost Adventures crew with a TV show.
This is what interests me when I first found your channel, Rich, because I thought this guy is doing kind of like a completely different channel to what's going. You basically had a channel ranting about ufology, and doing some good things, but you would shame everything, and then you would speak about the stuff that was really interesting. And I thought to myself, This is what we need, and this is entertainment. I'm sick and tired of seeing these copy and paste UFO videos, the same people putting out the same footage, and it's all these channels, and they'll start going, this happened over blah blah blah, and it's, oh, Jesus Christ, it's boring.
Well, before you comment, Rich, I would like to add that, I think what you're doing over at your channel is giving direction through all, the mire of videos that are out there, and people that are going onto YouTube looking at all these different presentations. They have no idea what to look for half the time, and I think what your show does is kind of weed out the nonsense and sort of highlight the things that might need to be looked at a little more closely.
Well, thanks. I try.
You don't take compliments very well, do you?
I don't. On this side of the everything, I know what I'm thinking. I know what's in my mind, and I don't know. Lately, you can't say the things you want to say. People don't like it, and it's an uphill battle doing it the way I was doing it. I don't know. I'm trying to. The longer I'm in the field, the more things seem to be happening that I never thought could happen.
Mm-hmm.
Strange things, seeing shadows and the spoon, in the drawer. I mean, that's been going on for more than 15 years.
Flashlight.
The flashlight test, and it worked both times pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Weird thing, my dog's bowl moved a year and a half ago. Right in front of my face. I caught it on camera. I posted it on Facebook. People were automatically saying, it's fake, it's fake. I'm like, now I know what it's like. Even though it's real, they're saying it's fake without telling me why it's fake. So I took it down. I said, you know what? I'll enjoy it. Screw you.
I don't blame you.
So
I left it up. I put it back up again, but, it was just like, even though I'm out there preaching about the truth and never hoaxed anything in my life, it doesn't matter. People will say it's fake even without explaining why.
So why do we still do this?
Well, that's why I'm trying not to. When I go after somebody and I talk about somebody, it's not the first time I've ever seen them. Sometimes people recommend looking at somebody, while I'm doing the show, and I'll go there and see them looking really goofy and trying to talk in channel, and they do the channeling, and I can duplicate exactly what they do, and I'm not even channeling. It's kind of proving that they're fake right on the spot. How could you say it's fake? You don't know if they're actually... Look, they're faking it. Nobody's talking to aliens. If they were, they'd be millionaires. They'd have answers for us. They never give us anything. Well, the aliens want us to learn on ourselves. How convenient. Yeah, everything's let us learn and fall our own faces. Why don't they help us if they're actually here to help us?
Well, yes, absolutely. What I was wondering, though, is, when you're capturing something like your dog's bowl moving and you're calling it paranormal because that's what you're experiencing right in front of you, and you videotape this and you upload it, you have a whole bunch of people saying the exact opposite, to the point where you take it down. I'm sure you're not the only person that's ever felt that way, with certainty about something that they put out to share, knowing that it was real. So my question is, why do we keep doing it? Is it just the conviction that we have ourselves, knowing that what we see is real, and just kind of putting a blind eye to the naysayers, or what?
What do you mean? Why do we keep doing it? Doing what?
Why do we keep documenting those paranormal events? Like the orbs, or your dog's bowl moving, or
I caught that by accident. Yeah.
Right. So you caught it by accident. You put it up, and you immediately were subject to intense ridicule. And it seems like a lot of people that have real footage, that's the immediate response from the public. So why do we still put up that footage when we catch it? Why are we not just passing it around amongst ourselves?
Well, that's passing it around. Putting it on Facebook and Twitter. It's the fastest way to do it. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. I took it down, and the reason I took it down, because I wanted to put it up in a video and show it close up and do a thing about it, which is what I want to do now that I know how to edit. So I'm going to be doing that with this clip and letting people see it the right way instead of just posting it from far. Now I can zoom in on it and do all that stuff. Put some music behind it, man. Have it go on third phase. Third Phase would post that. Seeing that bowl move, they would have to.
I don't know how much I can speak about this, but I've got Jeff Young coming on again with his crew, with the whole crew that do the investigations. I saw a video early. I don't suppose it matters that I tell you guys about it, because it will be shown, the video, and there will be a backup on it. But I saw shadow figures in this video like I've never seen before, and I mean never seen before, and it gave me goose pimples on there, because you could see when with all the equipment that they've got, that there is a literally figure coming up behind somebody, and it scared the bejesus out of me. I will be speaking about this in the show, but if anybody is lucky enough to make it this far into the video, I will be spending a night next year, with the entire team from Ghost Tech Paranormal in the most haunted house in Britain. Have you heard of the Black Monk?
Yes.
Yes, I will be staying in that house and live streaming in it, and
Boy, buddy.
and I will be staying in one of the bedrooms.
When?
Next year, well, Jeff's exact words were, "When we can, when all this shit is over."
Hey, the house ain't going anywhere.
No, but also I'm going to have the one of the biggest authors from the book, and the book is, I believe, I'm not massively into books, but it's the guy is Andy Evans, and the book is not loading up on my phone now. I forgot the name of the book. Don't Look Back in Anger. It's not an Oasis.
Don't Look Back in Anger. Okay.
Yeah, that is the name of the book, and I will be having this guy on the show.
Fantastic.
Before I go to the house, so he's done books about this house.
Maybe you can borrow Rich's flashlight.
Yeah. Well, there's gonna be loads of equipment there, because the whole team's got. Have you seen the Ghost Tech Paranormal team?
I can't say for sure. I feel like I've come across them, but I cannot say for certain.
Yeah, so one of my friends put me onto them, and
I'm sorry to cut you off. Are they the group that invents different equipment from scratch and goes out and tests it? Is that?
Do you know what they've actually done? They've actually made a piece of equipment from, the old Xbox Connect.
Yeah.
They've made something that actually can see things moving in a room, and it's the most weirdest technology I've seen, and you can actually see things moving.
Huh.
The lasers, yeah.
Yeah, what impresses me
cool.
about the videos is there's no kind of like clickbait.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Connect, they basically turned it into something useful.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yes.
Other people have done that though.
Oh, have they?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. But
yeah, that's great, because it can see the figures moving without the figure.
Yeah, like a stick figure.
Yes. I've seen that.
It's
the Ghost
amazing.
Adventures used that at one point, I believe, right?
Yeah, their guy, he modified one of those Connects to make that smaller and convenient to take around.
But
yeah, those guys, huh?
No, but these shadow figures that this guy's got are insane. When you were talking about shadow figures, Rich. But Jeff actually thinks that these shadow figures might have something to do with aliens rather than ghosts.
Right, maybe the shadow figures are aliens and ghosts are different, like spirit orbs and things like that. I don't know. What do you think about that, Michael?
I absolutely agree.
I don't know what
you.
to call you.
Well, no, seriously, I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true.
You think that?
Well, let's put it this way: there's a definitive difference when people are experiencing shadow people. Hi, Greer.
I meant to put the one at the side.
That is so classic.
Just to agree with Regan Havoc.
There is a definitive difference when you're looking at someone who's experienced a shadow people or an apparition, and one of those differences is the interaction. A lot of times people will say they feel, a certain feminine energy or masculine energy off of a spirit or somebody who's in the house. You might see certain things move around, that if they know who was there prior to, maybe somebody had passed on in the house, well, there's arrows that point to their interests that they had in life, or there's some sort of repetitious reoccurring event, like the front door opens at 6 o'clock and goes closes at the same time because that's when grandpa used to go to work in the morning, kind of thing. The shadow people seem very nondescript, other than they're just this shadow, and once in a while they're wearing a hat, and people have always asked the question, are the shadow people and the hat people the same thing? So I don't know about that yet. That being said, there's a defining difference, and I just think that we have a lot more research to look into to see what intelligence is actually behind the shadow people. It could very well be alien, because in my opinion, and there's absolutely no scientific basis for this whatsoever, I feel like the shadow people are on a lower vibration, that we can see them in that form, whereas spirit, or
This is exactly what
ghost
Jeff said to me. Yeah,
okay,
in
I
a
think
private
they're on a totally different vibration. It doesn't mean that they can't kind of cross over, but for them, it's a conscious choice. When you come down from a higher vibration to a lower vibration, it's a very conscious choice. Whereas maybe the shadow people are in a realm that's where they're existing, and that's where they're experiencing. So,
are we able to measure our vibration? And if so, how?
I think I could give you an answer for that, but I would have to do a little bit of research, because I remember coming across a few different studies, and I don't know how sound they were in terms of, the scientific principle that was using electromagnetic reading to determine that sort of thing. So, I'll answer that question for you, but let me do a little research first, because that's a good question, man. It's a very good question.
I always forget to ask. I meant to ask you earlier. I see Osvaldo is back.
Yes, I am.
Hey, brother.
Man, what's going on?
Right, listening to you guys butcher my field. You rank amateurs. My God.
The blind leading
I could
the blind.
reach through this phone. My goodness.
But you can't, Marge. You can't reach through the phone, can ya?
We literally have just
I'm
come to
joking.
about the end of the show.
all right.
So I'm glad you've come on just to.
Yeah. What part did we butcher?
Oh my God, I wrote a list.
You wrote a list.
I love it.
Yeah, but
We all
no,
care. That's all
this
that
whole
matters.
no, the whole thing about, like, you were shocked that I'm against spirituality. I would say you haven't been doing this long enough. If
I've been doing
you
this
saw
since 1993.
if you saw the damage done, dude, if you've seen the damage done by bringing in that type, it doesn't help us. It gets us lost. It gets us off the point that we are dealing with a physical phenomena. And even if you're getting information, from doing spiritual stuff, you don't really have anything of substance. And that's the difference with where we're going now, is we're going to start having things of substance. We're going to have things that we can say, well, don't believe in UFOs. Well, this fell off of one, or this is a part of one, or this is an intact one.
So we'll have our left-brain evidence, then, is what you're suggesting.
Yes, and that will be the only thing that changes anything.
Why?
Because that's honestly, it's the only thing. Other than that, we're just going to have conjecture and debate and opinion instead of fact. We're going towards fact, real fact. And not everybody's opinions and beliefs are going to make it past that threshold. In fact, most of them are going to be thrown away like rubbish because they're trash.
So where does the right brain interpretation come into this balance? It has to have a place somewhere, right?
Not honestly. We need to get the physical evidence. We need to handle things physically. That's the imperative. Once we've done that, you can decide whatever you want to do. But we need the physical aspects of this first. That is paramount. It is the most important part of this.
Osvaldo, I used to think like you do, and I know you've been in the field a long time, but so have I. I think it's irresponsible if we don't try.
No,
so
you
can't just wait for the evidence to show up and everybody say this is fake.
I'm not saying wait for the evidence. There are people going out there and looking for evidence right now.
That's what people are doing. They're doing their way. Your way doesn't mean it's right.
No,
it's just another way.
No, most people are doing that.
Right.
Most people are doing that.
Do you know
Some
Grant
people
Cameron
aren't.
You know Grant Cameron, right?
Yes, I
He
know who
used
Grant
to
Cameron
do
is.
nuts and bolts continuously until just recently. And now he's into the spiritual realm and music and everything else that nobody was studying heavily. And they're finding out that there's significant evidence that people, I know what you're saying. It's not provable. It's hard. It's hard to prove it. It's not something you could grasp, but people are feeling it. And if that's something that's real, wouldn't you want to know if you could actually...
It's honestly, the only way we'll know it's real is once we have physical evidence, and
Yeah,
when we
I
can
know.
measure that physical evidence against, these things. Like, I'll tell you stuff, dude. You were talking about Ingo Swann a while back. I knew Ingo Swann, and he lived in New York City. We used to go to the same groups, and I'm going to leave it at that for now.
So you're saying he's bullshit?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm saying they're onto shit, but it's not enough.
Yeah.
It's not
You're
enough.
right.
You can
right.
go and remote view anything you want of Mars or the moon or whatever as long as we don't have a team or something that says absolutely this is like exactly what's going on, and we don't have much, if anything. And that's the whole point. The only way ufology goes out of from woo-woo and climbs out of the rubbish bin is if we have a piece of wreckage in our back pocket when we do.
But that's the whole thing. We haven't had
And
disclosure.
nothing else will suffice or substitute that.
We
And
don't
in
have
fact,
disclosure.
we are all pissing in the wind until that happens.
Right. That
And
way.
I'm sick of pissing in the wind.
Right. So am I. But
Whereas
that way,
you guys are
it
like, no,
doesn't
you guys
work.
are like,
it
I
doesn't
enjoy
work.
pissing in the
Officially,
wind.
it doesn't work because obviously disclosure hasn't happened. So why can't people now, in this day and age, try something that hasn't been done officially?
No,
on
dude, it has
camera
been done.
in front of...
It has been done to death.
I'm not saying it hasn't. I'm saying done in a commercial sense.
What hasn't?
And
You know what?
the
What
world
really hasn't
involved.
been done? What really hasn't been done is scientific ufology, at least in the public.
Yes, it has.
Yes, it definitely is.
Not really. Not
yes,
really.
it has.
Not in the public. No.
And it's gotten
There've been
nowhere.
attempts. There's been attempts, but they never really.
So there's been
people didn't
attempts,
back it.
which means we're trying.
Yes, but not enough. If we put
is.
if we took
There's only so
the
far you could
resources-
go.
If we took the resources we give to charlatans and put it towards actual scientists that are willing to do the work,
I agree with
we
you.
would have a lot more to
I
say.
agree with you. Yeah.
But we
I
don't.
agree. I'm not
We
disagreeing
don't.
with anything
That is
you're
the
saying.
biggest yes, and the problem is that most of our resources are usually swallowed up by these quasi spiritual scams.
Well, the charlatans are something different than
Yes, but
separating
there's
spirituality from the
90%
field.
charlatans. 90% charlatans, man.
What about that 10%?
That's a lot
that
of
aren't?
charlatan. 10%
What
of
about
them,
the
half
yeah.
of them are mistaken, and the other guys are people of
So they're
extraordinarily
0%.
rare.
So it's
They're
100%.
Yeah, pardon?
So it's 100%. Pretty
What is?
much. That they're all frauds. Charlatans.
For the most part, yeah. If you're like, most of ufology is wading through shit.
It is. You're right.
Most of
Yeah, I feel
ufology
that.
is wading through shit. You're sifting through shit for diamonds. All right? And it takes you forever to find a diamond. But give it a couple of decades, you have a pile of diamonds. If you're lucky, if you don't get frustrated, if you don't, think, oh, this is just shit.
But shouldn't we be there with
good
a
luck
pile
with
of
that.
diamonds by now?
We
Shouldn't
might
we
have
that?
We might have that pile of diamonds, actually.
I know. I want to see it. That's all.
Might be seeing more soon. But this is the thing. I'm telling you right now, I've seen it all. I've not seen anything good come out of just devotion to spirituality for anybody other than the person selling the book or the lecture or the $5,000 trip.
So anything that's been proposed for
Anything that
spirituality
looks and
in this
sounds
field
like
has not
listen,
affected anyone else in a positive
Listen,
way?
all
Only the
religion.
authors?
Listen, religions were kickstarted by people who saw UFOs, had these weird experiences with beings, and they created religion out of it. Spirituality is just a watered down, lazier, less dedicated version of that. That's what that is. And the fact is that you guys are like, oh, like oh, there's a place for that. No, not really. There's not a place for everything and everyone.
There's not
Sometimes things go down that fundamentally change the equation, and that's what's going to happen? You're not going to be like, well, people are going to be more spiritual. No, people are going to be more scientific. We're moving into these new directions. We're going into transhumanism. People are going to humanism. Pardon me, transhumanism, and amongst other things, like we are becoming. And the thing is, if you actually speak to people that have done like autopsies of extraterrestrials, they're cyber organic. It doesn't. Do you understand that? They are not more spiritual than us. They're more technological than us,
Right.
physically.
Boys, and at the end of the day, I get Oz. I get where you're coming from. I get your passion with where you're coming from this, and I have nothing but respect for the passion that you give this subject. And at the same time, we've got Dark Hour, and your views are completely different to many people. I mean, the research that you're doing has given me inspiration to actually go after looking in different directions in this subject. And Rich, you know, your views on this as well. You know my respect for you because I speak to you pretty much every single day. Well, we used to speak nearly every day, but we've got busy lives with this lockdown. It's driving everybody insane. But at the end of the day, we're all in this together. We're all after the same goal here, and I think we need to come up with at some point a happy medium, because I don't think for 1 second that any one of us four here are completely right.
No, honestly, dude,
if we had the answers,
physical evidence will change that. That's the nature of physical evidence.
Listen, Oz, I understand your science behind it, and I get that. And as somebody who probably I got a C in science, so it's pretty shit. But as somebody who's all down for the science behind this, I definitely think there's something else behind this subject that people need to look into, because I think if you don't look into that part of it, you're forgetting about thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years of people talking about this shit.
I think again, I think you have you guys have a misunderstanding, a fundamental one about science and what it actually means. You know, and the fact is that, like, all right, when you get rid of spirituality and all this, like, you know, when you get rid of spirituality and you're dealing with psi abilities, you get remote viewing, and remote viewing is a lot better system of doing those things. And that was created by scientists. It wasn't priests, though they used aspects of them. They would study people in the Himalayas, and they would study, people that would be in these groups that can go into these different states and altered consciousnesses. And what they did was they stripped away the BS aspects of it and just like looked at what they were doing physically. And not only did they get the similar results, they got better results than these guys that run around in robes.
That is the question of the night, boys. By Ginger Steve. Just a simulation.
That's great.
Which means I'm correct if it is.
Well, it sounds like you believe that there's only one path to this end here.
No, I think that there's all the paths lead to one place.
But what are the other?
That's where you don't understand.
But if
all the paths lead to one place, and that path is going to lead us. But we're zeroing out. We're going to be going to the same place. From there, we have a destination. From there, things might go in millions of different directions. But everything, again, the path seems to be closing in. We're going to be having something's going to happen, and then from there, many other things. But yes.
What's your views on the simulation theory?
It's entirely possible. It's like entirely possible. So then
what are the UFOs? If it's all a simulation?
Well, they could be a part of the simulation as well. Maybe there's different levels of the simulation. Maybe eventually you get cheat codes, and maybe we're slowly getting those. Rich, maybe they got the expansion pack.
I know you've got a lot of opinions on the simulation.
Yeah.
Come on. Give me.
Well-
I was meant to go half an hour ago, but I'm just like, I'm intrigued now.
Well, the simulation theory, I mean, that's nothing new. It's been around.
know it's
for a
nothing
while,
new.
But my thought on it is, if you want to say that we're living in a simulation, it would make sense for the things we see that we can't explain. I would like to think that the UFOs are the creators coming here and seeing how the simulation is holding up, or maybe they're making repairs, or whatever. Maybe our bodies are really not what we think they are, but it could be just like the movie. And maybe they come in here and they abduct us to repair us, or I don't know, to put chips in us to make us see better, or make us live longer. I don't know. But a lot of the things could make sense that.
Well, if that were possible, then if that was true, they could just reprogram the simulation.
Of
They
course,
wouldn't need
yeah,
machines.
That's
They
why.
wouldn't need machines. They would just show up, and
so that's what they've been doing this year. They've been doing maintenance.
Maintenance.
Like,
It's very there's a million different things that could be said about a matrix reality. It's very very difficult. It's very tricky. It doesn't explain everything, but it explains a lot of stuff.
Do you know
they could also they could be part of the simulation and are simply aware of it and understand the rules of the simulation.
Right.
Like I said, cheat codes. They got the expansion pack. We don't have that yet.
Do you know something? For somebody who's not into the Mandela effect, somebody showed me the other day the Freddie Mercury song "We Are the Champions," and I'm like,
yeah, I know.
I'm like, no, I'm not having that. At the end of that, he did say "of the world." So I rang my mum and I went, "Mum,
But he
do you remember?" I said, "Mum, do you remember We Are the Champions?" She says, "We used to play all the time in the car." I says, "Yeah." I said, at the end of it, when it said "We are the champions," oh, sorry, that's the wrong note. What?
No, you're good. You're good.
No, it's I can't remember how it
the champions. And then, but it ends, and this is the last part of it. Of the world.
Yeah, and I go, Mum, it goes, doom, doom. And then what did you say, Mum? And she went, of the world. And I went, Jesus Christ. Honestly,
so where did we hear that? Because I can hear
in
it
the middle of the song.
It's from the middle of the song? Okay.
Yeah.
And then we're just kind of transposed. That's interesting, man.
He ended it with it, Rich.
He didn't, though. I grew up with that. I remember when the album came out, and I knew, because you want to say it, even back then, you want to say "of the world," but you're not supposed to. I knew that since I was 8 years old. It's not a Mandela effect. There's no such thing.
Yeah, I'm not into the Mandela effect.
I have to agree with you guys.
Honestly, I think a lot of people need to get help with their drinking.
I love. Oh yeah, I need help with my drinking.
Like
I need somebody to pass me a drink.
It's because people 40 and over start forgetting the things they saw when they were kids. It was also subliminal. Advertisers, they don't spell things correctly.
There's also jokes. Like there was a guy who was trying to pitch Wonder Bread He-Man as some type of Mandela effect He-Man. It's like, no, it's Wonder Bread He-Man.
Did you say Wonder Bra He-Man?
Wonder Bread He-Man.
Oh,
Wonder Bread.
They used to give out this weird alternate He-Man with Wonder Bread back in the 80s. If you bought enough Wonder Bread.
That's funny.
Cool.
Yeah, and he had different black armor and stuff. And they were trying to. They play a lot of dumb. Like I don't like it. I don't like it because it's always some weird bullshit getting in the way of ufology. Like don't ask me about Bigfoot. No. I don't give a fuck about Bigfoot. Fuck Bigfoot. Especially if he's real. Fuck Bigfoot. If he doesn't come off of a UFO, I have no interest in Bigfoot.
I see where your interests lie, Osvaldo. I mean, there's no question about what your focus is here, bro. That's for sure, man.
Eyes on the prize. Like honestly, like again, I have a physics background. You got to remove all of the variables.
What did you say about Bigfoot?
Fuck him. He's irrelevant, dude. Unless he can talk, like or something like that, or like like other than that, or he's an extraterrestrial himself. He's just a dude. Do you realize that about 100 years ago, people didn't believe in gorillas? There were all these stories about gorillas, and they're like, "Oh, that's bullshit," and they're like, "Oh, well, the Africans. I don't believe the Africans are crazy and dumb." And then guess what? Found gorillas. And now you can see them at the zoo. They have kittens, and we teach them sign language.
So you're saying we haven't discovered what Bigfoot is yet? It's a biological entity.
I don't know. We have, but if we do, odds are, don't get too excited. It's just a monkey.
Well, you know what? I think as somebody who is grounded in the field of maybe cryptozoology or something else, when you find an answer that you didn't expect, so let's say that we do find that Bigfoot is just a biological entity, that's still an answer to me, and I'm happy with that. It doesn't have to be paranormal. You know what I mean?
It's like okay, it's like all right. It's like it's another hominid, it's another primate, but that'll be it for the most part. It's not this big watershed moment for humanity. Like nothing's going to top confirmation.
Well,
Nothing.
I mean, you know,
and it'll only happen once.
Well,
and it'll only happen once.
Contact people
and it won't come through meditating and visualizing. It's going to come through something physical happening.
DarkHour, what are you going to say, mate?
I don't know. I think I said what I was going to say at the moment. I don't know if I had something else. If I do, I'll let you know. No, it's just very interesting talking to Osvaldo because, you know, you seem very, very straightforward with that left brain approach, which, again, I can also appreciate because I do have, you know, an interest in the science behind all of this. That being said, when we start dipping into the world of quantum physics, a lot of different things change, and there are variables that we wouldn't have.
Don't you notice everybody talks about quantum physics? It's 100 years old. A lot of stuff has happened. It's not, and a lot of the a lot of the spiritualists that they try to delve into quantum mechanics, they misrepresent what they don't know what they're talking about. Like they say a lot of things like energy, dude, like energy. Oh, I felt the energy of these beings, their kindness. Like, what are you talking about?
Maybe
that's not what energy is.
Experience
you got some
than other people. Maybe that's all it is.
Pardon?
Maybe other people are having a different experience than you are. And maybe
they're using the language wrong. They're using the language and the concepts wrong. That's a fact. If you want to come up with some other vernacular, that's fine. But stop trying to use science the wrong way. You're not helping with you do that. You're actually causing a great deal of damage. You need to have a real hard understanding of these things before you play with them. It's not everything. I mean, if you don't have discipline, you're just writing bad science fiction.
Yeah, well, I mean,
self-satisfactory bad science fiction, but that again, that's religion. Again.
Yeah. I just say don't rule out possibilities, man, is all I'm saying. You know, the more open you are to at least looking at something, not necessarily subscribing to it.
Oh yeah, but we've looked at spirituality and religion to death. Listen, we've looked at spirituality and religion to death for thousands of years. If the real whole answers were there, we would have found them.
Do you think so?
Yeah. We find everything else.
Okay.
We find everything else, including UFOs.
Okay.
Honestly.
I respect your opinion, brother.
It's not an opinion.
I respect what you're saying.
When this happens, when physical evidence is found and it's proven, that's going to change everybody's conversations and beliefs, except mine. Mine will probably be the closest to what's going on. Now I say that, there could be a whole bunch of other shit that comes with it. But honestly, keep it simple, keep it physical.
Okay.
Don't add your beliefs. Don't add your wishes. Don't paint. Yeah.
You said earlier when we was talking that you believe in ghosts, but you don't.
Oh, no. I know ghosts exist. Ghosts do exist.
That's not scientific, though?
No, but there's also personal experience. I've seen ghosts. I come from
That's
a line.
What I'm talking about. Personal experience.
No. Well, let me tell you something else. I come from a long line of famous spiritualists and seers. Mm-hmm. All right, on both sides of my family. You know that. The fact is, I'm speaking from experience. I've seen how that shit gets weighed down in garbage. And that you have, like I said, you're sifting through diamonds. There's some diamonds in there, but it's mostly crap too. And you got to get rid of that. And a lot of that crap, people have emotional attachments to.
But if there's diamonds in there, you got to go for it.
Yeah, but the diamond, you get the diamonds, but you leave the crap behind. You're not going to walk around with shitty hands and talking about you have a diamond.
Yeah, and that shit. A lot of this is the journey, too, that they had to go through. So they shared the journey on the way to the diamond.
Yeah, but you have to understand that when people are not people get wrapped up in shit. They and they add things, and you got to keep it like, base minimum, understate if possible.
Yeah.
Just to keep it real. Literally, like we say, keeping it real. Let's keep it real, physically real, as best as we can. Because you see, when we do that, we used to think lightning was a spiritual force. We used to think that lightning was a spiritual force. There was a group of ministers in the 1700s that got together, and they thousands of them signed this petition demanding that Ben Franklin be stopped from his experiments with lightning, because everyone knew that was God's domain and how he used to punish the wicked. And guess what? We tore away all the spiritual beliefs behind lightning that go back to Zeus. And what did we do? We created electricity from it, and we're having this conversation because of that. And the same thing is going to happen again. But once we strip away, again, is there nuggets of truth in spirituality? Sure, but we don't need spirituality for the nuggets, which means it's got to go. We will have a more dynamic system. I'm telling you, this is how everything has always worked. I'm just working backwards from our own history.
So, boys, I would like to talk about this all night long, but this could go on and on and on. So I think we probably need a disclosure part 2. So before we do part our ways, and I hope you'll stick about for 5 minutes aftermath. But Rich, we'll start with you because you came on first, fella. Where can the people watching this, that probably everybody knows you anyway, but the people for the odd clinker that might just be there that does not experience the GUFON in its full, oof. Where can they find you?
You can find GUFON. GUFON is on every night, basically 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on YouTube. And you could also catch some things that I'm doing for Third Phase. I have to promote that as well. It's their it's their sister channel, which I'm managing now and putting up videos every day. And some of your content will probably be there. And I'll ask, Dark Hour if I could use anything he's got that's exciting, and so on and so forth. So that's been a nice new adventure. And Third Phase of Moon is sending me, check this out, the Petrodoc rock. You know what that is? That is something that's 250,000-year-old spark plug sticking out of a little rock or something like that. It was tested years ago. Yeah. And now I'm about to go out there with Doc Skinner, and I think about 10 days we're going to drive to Albuquerque, and then we're going to drive to U of A, University of Arizona in Tucson, and get it tested. And we're going to make a little documentary out of that. So a lot of stuff going on. Mary Hall's got some great sightings I've been posting, and she's sending me stuff from the ISS. We're always working at GUFON, so you can catch it every night.
Absolutely, man. I couldn't have said it better. Really.
Thanks for having me on.
In the description, and Dark Hour, your channel's not in the description because I didn't know you were going to come on.
Yeah, neither did I. So.
I will add it.
Say again?
I will add it, but where can they find you?
Oh, sure. You can find me at DarkHour Paranormal on YouTube. It's DarkHour Space Paranormal, to clarify, because if you do it any other way, you won't find me, apparently. You can also get in touch with me at darkhourparanormallive@gmail.com. Also on Instagram at the same name, DarkHour Paranormal Live, and on Twitter at DarkHourP.
Well, boys,
I'll be live in an hour, so enjoy.
And Dark Hour's coming on tomorrow night, my show.
Oh, yeah. Yes. With
Mark Colantonio.
Yes.
So everybody,
thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
I will add Dark Hour's link to this, but this probably won't process till probably 12 hours from now. But anybody that's watching it, the links are in the description. Osvaldo, are you going to have a channel?
At some point, when I get to that. I'm very busy, but you can get in touch with me on my Instagram account.
Yes, I'll pop Osvaldo Franco's Instagram in the description, so people have got questions, fire it his way. But yeah, boys, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
On Alien. I'm just going to drop you guys out and put me onto solo for a second. going solo. Guys, thank you so much for everybody in the chat, all the super chatters, fantastic. Everybody with an opinion. I wish there was two of me so I could read the channel. At some point, I'm probably going to tie my wife up to my chair here and just get her to kind of point stuff out to me. But yeah, it's been great having everybody on. What a great debate. And I kind of feel like it wasn't finished. So we probably need to do a part 2 or something like that. So anybody that's got any suggestions when this video goes out live, which it might take a bit to process, but if you still got the video, probably make a comment below on what you want to see in part 2. But yeah, thank you so much for joining the channel, guys. I'm Alien Addict. If you want to support the channel further, you can check out the Patreon. It's in the description. But stay safe, people. Good night. God bless. And mind the bugs don't bite. And where's my Stephen Greer? There he is. Good night.